Hey, what's happening, guys and gals? How's everybody doing? Welcome back to the channel. And Zelda, thank you so much for jumping on the computer. We're back with more Gotham Knights. At least I hope so. I don't even want to tell you the day I've had, but it's pretty rough. So we're going to do a little bit of free roaming, see what happens. Amber Zelda's going to have to go in the basement again, because she's being a little pain in the buttski. I was trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, but she doesn't want to... I actually made it hard for her to jump from computer to computer, and she still doesn't want to do it. Yeah, I know. That's your mean, Zelda. Yeah.
She's rude. She's rude.
Yeah.
I know who the minion is that's been attacking our streams.
Wow. Not even 1 minute in. Oh, okay. Well.
Zelda, it's time to go to the basement.
Time for you to go to the basement, Zelda.
Meow, meow, meow. It's a cat parade. Let's go in the basement. Meow, meow, meow. It's time for meow, meow, meow.
Time for meow, meow, meow. Yep.
Look, I can only put her in the basement if you tell me who is the most beautiful cat in the universe.
Zelda's the cutest cat in the universe.
Oh, she says, you got the answer correct.
You got the answer correct, yeah. Hooray! But anyway, hopefully you guys having a good one. And,
We're having a rough day.
Yep. That's...
Hey, you're the vigilante.
Everything is weird today. I think today's cursed.
But you want to know...
I wonder if something bad happened on this day in history.
You want to know something funny, though? Yeah, I know. It's already happening.
Make sure it's not on auto shut off, sweet muffin.
I don't care.
Well, if it's on auto shut off, then it will shut off right now. You have to go to stream settings.
I know, Amber. I know.
Why don't I do it? Because the way I do it, I'm able to do it. Okay, this is how I do it. I just shut this down.
No.
That's what I do every time, and it works.
But you can't do it repeatedly. You only get 2.
But I know, but I do it once, and then I'm fine. What?
Fine, it's not gonna work.
Well, what do you want me to do? Fine. You want me to try it?
You can do it once. Okay, I tried to send Amber an invite. I sent her an invite.
Yay! I got it.
Yep, you got an invite. Now, interestingly enough, that if we were really having problems with our ISP, you wouldn't be able to be in my game. So...
Sweetheart, what's he doing around here?
Just saying. Okay, so I'm just gonna go beat up some people.
Oh, thank you, Gio, since I've been missing hearing your voices today. Oh, thanks, Gio. So sweet. Yeah, sorry, guys and gals. We will be redoing Paper Mario at another time, but we will not be announcing it publicly, and also I will not be announcing it on Twitter, like saying thank you for being Ultimate a ton, because that makes our stream a target. So just know we are very, very thankful.
They can't hear us.
They can hear us. The microphone is on. There's no problem, Luke.
I'm watching the playback.
Well, why don't I do it for a while then? Why don't you take a walk and have an ice cream, and I will run around. Okay. Well, I'm gonna keep going then. All right, guys. We're having a little bit of issue today. We are having a problem.
I haven't seen Red Hood around here before.
I'm gonna stream as long as this allows me to. I won't. I'm just gonna beat up some bad guys, so this will just be a free roaming. There will be lag because I can't help it. There's nothing wrong with my internet. Just having outside interference with my game. You guys are just gonna have to be really far behind, and I'm just gonna be lagging this whole time because I can't not stream, even though someone is trying to make it impossible for me to. So if you guys want to, you know, hang out while I'm doing this in a laggy fashion, feel free.
Is that one of those vigilantes?
But I don't blame anyone if they can't be around, but so just so you know, we should have this fixed sometime this week, so hopefully by tomorrow, the next day. We did actually just fix it today. We had someone on the phone.
Don't give people information. Do not.
So we thought we had it fixed, but apparently it's not. So we're just gonna have to fix it another way. Yeah, Luke's had a stressful day. Luke, honey, if you want, you know, whatever you need to do, okay? I'll see you in a couple hours, okay? Alright, so we're gonna be doing some free roam as Red Hood.
Huh. It's a bat stash. But how am I gonna get in there?
Hi, good to see you guys in the chat. Hi, great to see you, Twilight. Angel, hi, Twin. Hello, Jamari. Hi, Cody. Great to see you. Milan, Jamal. Great to see you, Dolph Quick. Hi, Jade Rose, Jackson. Hi, Justin Kelly. Great to see you, Ben the Rosalina fan. Hi, everyone. And hi, Rugot. Good to see you, Jackson, J. Arsu. Yep, we know you're, we're gonna try to get your ultimate in this week, Ben. As long as someone isn't, trying to destroy our, streams all week. So, we'll try. We can't really, we're gonna have to, like, I'm gonna have to DM you, or talk on Discord or something. So that, I can't say it out loud. No, guys, please don't say anyone's name or who you think it is. I'm gonna delete those kind of comments. Please, mods in the chat, please delete any comments about people trying to say people's names. Luigi44 is a valued viewer, and he hasn't had any problems with us. He once spoke French in the chat a few times, and people got into an argument with him about it, and he apologized, and there's no problem. He doesn't have any problem with us. I don't have any issues with that person, and he's one of our valued viewers, so I don't have any issues with him. And I see no reason why he would do anything. I don't know why his name keeps getting brought up, because literally, if you met him, you would realize that he's probably not, you know, things get way out of control. It's not that person. You know, it could be somebody from 10 years ago, it could be another YouTuber, it could be anyone. It could be someone I met at work when I worked at Walmart. It could be anyone. It could be someone that just doesn't like Luke and myself personally. It might not even be anyone that has to do with the channel. I mean, so guys, I don't really want to discuss it. If I see a lot of, yeah, it's gonna be lagging the whole time, so just, please. Alright, so hopefully you guys are having a great day today. Please like the video so, we can, do more of these streams. Okay. I'm not going back to the Belfry loop. Honey, if you're gonna keep talking to me from the background, why don't you just come on the stream? Honey, why don't you take a nap? You really need sleep. Please, honey, take care of yourself. Luke, why don't you take a nap? What on earth are you doing? That would suffice that you wouldn't take a nap. That's what you're gonna do for 3 hours? Why don't you take a nap? Why don't you take a nap, Luke? Okay. Okay, I'll see you later, okay? Alright, Luke's had a long day, so we're gonna try to get some of these,
Red Hood recognized.
Oops, I already missed that one. So this is just gonna be like a free roam episode, guys and gals. Nothing much. Luke, it says excellent now. Oh, okay. Alright, well, have a good day.
Identity verified. Location of cache added to AR device.
Yeah, guys, I really can't talk about it very much, but this is gonna be a different type of stream. There's nothing I can do right now to change it, so I'm just gonna keep on going. Alright, thanks for the 83 likes, guys and gals. Really appreciate that. I'm just trying to ask for more likes. Let's try to get up to 90 likes if we can, everyone. Thanks, everyone. Our internet is always working. We don't have any problems with our internet. I've been trying to explain this. Alright, so we're gonna try to beat up some bad guys. Looks like there's one here. Hi guys, so I don't know if I'm gonna talk a lot because Luke and I are it's very difficult right now this week. And I can't really talk about why it's difficult because that gives people more information. I really can't talk about it very much, but this, today's stream is going to be a little rocky, but if you guys don't mind, I'm just going to hang out and play some Red Hood. I didn't mean to tell Luke to go to sleep like that. I'm very stressed out. I know he needs sleep. He's had a migraine. I need to get him tested for the T virus. He's very sick. I need him to go to the foot clinic for emergency foot care. I haven't done that, and I just want him to go to bed, but I didn't do that the right way, so I am sorry about that. Luke, are you okay? Alright, he'll probably go to sleep. Alright, so, yep, Red Hood's looking pretty cool here. Oh no, nothing happened with Luke and myself. We're having issues with the internet, and he's very tired, and he's very sick. And I'm not having any issues with Luke.
Finally found
You
it.
didn't walk into anything bad. I'm just asking Luke to go to sleep because he's very stressed out. He's had a very stressful day, and I can't talk about why, because then that gives people more information that are already trying to just basically hurt us and hurt the channel and hurt people. So it's just very difficult. The more I talk about it, the more they revel in happiness for hurting other people, so I can't really talk about it very much. Even though that's literally all that I'm dealing with right now. Alright, so I guess we could try this one. I'm gonna try here. So guys and gals, Luke really does want to be on the stream right now, but I wanted him to go to bed because he's had a very stressful day. He's been on the phone for hours, with different, things. Oh, thank you for the prayers, Cassie. I appreciate that. Thank you, Gio, for the prayers, and Cassie, I appreciate that very much. No, it's not working right now. They're still hacking us every 3 seconds. Every time people mention how it's working, then they hack us again. It's not working now. There is no such thing as working. They can hack at any time. It's not working now. That's the thing. I don't want to explain it because if I talk about it, then they'll do it more. So I really don't want to discuss it. It's not working now. But I appreciate that. I appreciate the sentiment. I want to be positive, but I know that that's not the case. Being hacked is like being on a tiny raft and having sharks come and basically eat the logs from your raft all the time, and any moment you could be in the water and your entire raft would be gone and you can't function at all. So, you just try to not look at the sharks and you try to just do your job and not pay attention to it.
Units requested in Robinson Park near the Forum.
There's nothing you can do.
A large group of known gang members has been reported in the area.
See? I told you. Hey, guys, you guys can ask about it, but I'm not going to answer any questions, because the more I answer questions about this, the more that they'll continue to attack me. So please, please don't ask me any more questions. Just, mods, if you could just let people know the stream is lagging. And also, mods, please, I will unmod people if I did mention today, because a mod got let go from a channel, or got banned from a channel. I do unmod people, but I won't necessarily ban my mods. But if you guys aren't doing your job, I will unmod you, just so you know. So please don't mention you're gonna watch other channels. And also, if I've asked you guys not to talk about certain people that most likely were hacking us, please don't mention them or you will be unmodded. Just because Luke will add you back a million times doesn't mean I won't also unmod you a million times. So please don't do that. Yeah guys, today I'm just gonna be free roaming and hanging out. There's really nothing to see, but you know, just try to be normal in the chat. Everything should be fine. As long as my mods make my job easier and not harder. If my mods actually make my job harder for me than easier, then I will have to get rid of all of them. So please make my job easier, not harder for me.
There we go.
Because that's not fair to me.
Heroes are always...
Where is it? You can't. Someone's after me.
That's what I'm talking about.
Wow, he hits really hard.
Looks like this is it.
Never thought I'd see Red Hood in
Eh,
person.
they'll live.
Alright, so yep guys, I can't progress the story today. It's not a regular episode. I'm just running around Gotham because we have to stream something. So if you do want to hang out, you can definitely watch. I'm having a very stressful day today, so, you know, please try to make things easier for Luke and I, not harder things. Good to see you guys. Hi, Twin. Hi, Gio and Cassie. Great to see you, OH and everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. And, yep, and, yep, I'm just, Luke is taking a nap because he has worked very hard today. And, but yeah, the problem is that, you know, we're gonna do the best we can to reschedule streams that have been down this week, but there's nothing that I can do. Like I don't know. Like it's like if you know, like someone kept doing a drive-by shooting in my house and I had to cancel all the, you know, like Christmas dinners for that week. It's not really my fault that someone is drive-by shooting in my house all the time. That's what it's like for this channel. It's like people are asking me, well, when will this stop? When can I have my stream again? It's like, well, I don't know when they're gonna stop doing this. So, you know, it's really not my fault that they're doing this. I mean,
I'm not staying here.
you know, like there's specific things like from like years ago where I mocked the character model of Wonder Woman in Injustice. I get a lot of hate from that, where people hate me. But it's interesting that they actually changed the character models on that game based on the fact that I made fun of them. And also back in the day, I mean, I honestly just make fun of things to make people laugh. My point of making fun of character models is just to bring joy to people and make people laugh. It's just supposed to be funny. You know, people get way too sensitive over things like me calling like Spider-Man combat like, oh, it's like Arkham combat, like Spider-Man's taken from Arkham. You know, like things like this that are literally just supposed to be fun and just like interesting observations. People get so overly sensitive about it and start becoming like crazy haters. You know, there's really not, if my whole job is to make fun of games and have fun and, you know, just be goofy on the stream, and people are like, how dare you make fun of, you know, Bald Tim Drake or something. You know, I can't really help that people don't have a sense of humor, and they, you know, have to sit here and try to, you know, destroy my business because they have no sense of humor. You know, people that try to hate other people and try to ruin other people's lives, it's because they don't have any joy of their own. Like, if you had joy of your own life, you wouldn't need to sit there for hours a day trying to ruin somebody else's life. Like, I would know, because I've definitely been angry at people and wanting to ruin their lives because of things they've done to me. I've definitely been hurt by people and want to hurt other people, and after a while, you can't keep doing that, because it doesn't matter how much they hurt you. You can't live your life trying to get back at someone who hurt you. Yeah, it still hurts and they got away with it, and maybe you think about them every day and you think about the horrible things they got away with, or whatever horrible things I got away with doing to somebody, that they would attack me like this. But in reality, like, you can't, after a while, you're gonna go crazy. And I know from experience, you know, that, you know, like, I have intrusive thoughts myself where people have hurt me and I, you know, feel really bad, and after a while, the only thing that works is you have to think positive, and you just have to get your mind off of it, and you have to try to not think about what other people did to you. And it's just like, I'm sorry, but paying to hack somebody and hurt them, you know, is just insane. It's just crazy, like, to do that, because it's just like, I mean, maybe for whoever's doing this, it's fine, but it's just crazy to do that, because you're literally wasting your own life trying to destroy somebody else. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, it just doesn't, I guess if it makes you feel better, but it's just really weird. It's just gone on for so long. Yeah, and that's my other character there, so. Yeah, I just told Luke to go to sleep because, you know, he doesn't have the ability to sit here while the stream's going in and out for hours on end and watch his viewers basically being like, I'm never gonna watch this channel again, I'm leaving, your internet connection is unstable, all the things that the hacker wants people to think. I never know if the stream is gonna go up. I never know if you guys are going to start on time. I never know if the stream's going to shut off unexpectedly. That's the whole point of the hacking, is to get your audience to stop trusting that your stream is going to go up when you say. That's the reason why they hack people. And, you know, and that's why they do it. Because it's really not about losing that day of money. It's really about losing years and months and your reputation online in the future, and people don't come back to the streams after that. That's the whole point. So, yeah, especially mods, if you're gonna leave, like, I mean, I'm just one specific person mentioned, I'm gonna go watch this instead of this. Please don't say that if you're a mod. You're supposed to be an example. I've already said this to other people, like, when I was streaming late at night. Like, most of you guys are fine, but one person mentioned, like, I'm gonna go watch this for a while because the stream isn't working. Please don't do that, or I will unmod you if you say that again. Because you're supposed to be helping me. If you're a mod, you're supposed to be helping me and not make me look bad and not making people leave the stream. So if you do things that make people leave the stream, you will be removed as a mod. And if you don't understand why that would make people leave, then you shouldn't have been a mod in the first place, because you should know what would make people leave. That should be obvious. And, you know, most mods know what it is. Only like 1 or 2 people or one person today seem to not understand that. And so you'll, no matter how many times Luke's had you back, you'll be continually removed. Okay. So I'm just gonna find, let's see. Yeah, I guess we're just gonna get these cachet things. Yeah, so what is gonna happen tonight? I don't even want to talk about tonight because I don't know. Maybe I'll have to move the stream tonight to tomorrow or something. I don't know. But for right now, I'm not, you know, I don't have any plan changes for tonight that I know of.
Red Hood?
What exactly are you doing, Luke? Making me uncomfortable. Are you gonna play the game or what? I thought you were... What are you doing?
I just want to play for games.
You're gonna play as Batgirl?
Red Hood acknowledged.
Hey guys, it's just gonna be just Luke and I hanging out, or just me. And also, guys and girls, we might not be advertising everything on our socials as
Cache
much
site uploaded to AR device.
in the future, because whoever is constantly hacking us is watching everything we're doing, our newsletter, everything that we do to notify people. That's what they're watching. So like, even if we made like an Instagram post, or we posted on, you know, special feature thing online or something, or we made a special post, that's what they would be watching. What's really heartbreaking to me is that, you know, like, it's very possible that somebody who has my friend code on one of my systems, so someone who's a current, like, you can't really do this to people unless you have access to somewhere to access to them online. So it's very possible that someone who is a friend on one of my game systems, so meaning a former member or a member, is the one doing this. That they have our friend code.
Validation unsuccessful.
I
Return
know,
to the
but I'm
first
just saying
emitter.
that's heartbreaking because, you know, I don't remove people from my friends list because I like to be nice, and I may have to remove everyone. It's very difficult for me. Especially because I try to stay friends with people. I don't like to burn bridges, and whoever's doing this continually to me is going to make me burn bridges with every single person I know, just in case. But that's what they want. Thank you for the super chat, Look Batman. Says it's possible that Hush could be the main villain of Batman 2. Maybe Luke Batman. My honey. What do you think, Luke? What, like Batman 2? Oh, you mean like the movie, The Batman? Or you mean like the game? Luke, do you know what Luke Batman is asking? Thank you for the super chat, Luke Batman. Really appreciate that.
The Batman 2.
So, yeah, I mean, it could definitely be Hush, or... Didn't they show, the Joker was at the end, or... No, the Riddler was in that, obviously. But I thought the Joker was laughing or something at the end or something of that movie, or unless that's a spoiler.
Joker's gonna show up in the Arkham show. He's not gonna be in the next movie. He's gonna show up in the show because they don't want to make the next movie about the Joker. That's not what the
Red
Fuse was
Hood
about.
identified.
I messed up.
Oh.
I'm over here. Thank you, Luke Batman. Really appreciate that.
Verification failed. Please repeat the sequence.
Yeah, please don't advertise other streamers, please. Thank you. Thanks again, Luke Batman. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, Hush would be a great villain. I don't really understand a lot about Hush. Like, so I don't really understand Hush. All I know about Hush is that he's some weirdo that keeps changing his face, like Kim Kardashian or something. Like, I don't really understand. I don't really understand the point of Hush. So I don't understand. Like, darn it, I messed up. I messed this up. I messed this up again.
How'd you mess it up? Oh, you're doing
I'm very distracted today. Thank you, Luke Batman. Bless your heart. Thank you so much.
Authentication
It
failed.
doesn't matter. I mean, it's gonna go in and out all stream.
Red Hood acknowledged.
I'm very stubborn. I actually played Mario Kart one time that it was an hour behind, and people were still playing with me, and I'm a very stubborn person. You know, I'm stubborn. I don't, you know, there's nothing I can do.
Identity confirmed. Cache location sent to AR device.
No, you gotta suck.
Yep, I got a cat. I don't forget if this is called catch something.
You can go back to being Batgirl if you want. I can play as Red Hood, unless you really want to play as Red Hood.
I thought you don't want to be here because of things are frustrating you. That's what you do. You don't want to be here.
I just want to play.
Okay, but you're gonna get. You can't handle it. You can't handle the heat. You can't handle it. You're not gonna be able to handle it. We know that. Whoever it is, they know you can't handle it. Guys and gals, we're just gonna keep playing. The stream may go in and out, and it could unexpectedly end, but until then, we're going to keep playing. Because that's what we do. We have to stream every day for income, so we have no choice. We would like to hang out with you guys, and yeah.
Okay, some people to beat up here.
Oh, why did you change my outfit?
I did?
I think so.
Oh, I changed your Batgirl outfit, yeah. You can change it back.
No, it's okay. Yeah, appreciate that, Luke Batman. Thank you.
That's Red Hood, huh?
Boink.
Did we read the Batman Hush comic? Luke's read a lot of Batman comics. I don't know. I haven't really. I watched Batman the animated series. That's all I really. I mean, I think I watched an interesting article about. I was looking up things for Red Hood, and I was watching an interesting article about it. And the guy was saying why he liked Red Hood a lot, and he was mentioning Red Hood comics. Starting with the guy that was gonna get away with hurting women, and he ended up somehow falling off the edge.
That was a Robin.
When he was Robin, yeah. But I mean, that's Jason Todd.
Yeah, that was, I mean...
But I mean, in a way, it's hard not to feel the same way because if someone was going to get away with it. Especially since Keaton Batman actually did kill people, you know? I'm just trying to be real about it. And then in the 40s, Batman actually killed people, so it's kind of weird that Jason Todd gets chastised for doing that when in reality, you know... I mean, even the Batman that doesn't kill, who's to say that some people didn't eventually die after he put them in the hospital? I mean, he doesn't know what's really going to happen to them when he does certain things to them to make them knocked out. I mean, there's a 50-50 chance that you could die from that.
Mm-hmm.
Just being realistic here, like, I mean, you don't purposely, I mean, if you throw somebody off of a building, then it would purposely kill them in a way, but I mean, if you knock somebody out with like a chokehold the way Batman does, in reality, they could die from it eventually, like if they didn't get to the hospital in time or something. I'm just saying, I'm just kind of being devil's advocate, I guess, but also being realistic about it.
Yeah, but Jason as Robin would do things that would lead people to dying. It wasn't just an accidental death. That's why fans voted to kill him off, is because he was too extreme. But that's why he came back as an anti-hero later, and he works better as Red Hood, because Red Hood can walk that, you know, that tightrope.
Yeah, I guess people didn't want it to be Robin because
No.
it didn't feel like Robin.
No.
Like he was more
Also
like the
because
Punisher.
when Robin was doing that kind of stuff, it was setting a bad example for all the stuff Batman had been building up as his reputation, because he didn't cross that line. And things were already kind of dicey after Crisis on Infinite Earths anyway, like when the whole world reset. So,
it's hard to not relate to that first person, though, when that guy accidentally went off the cliff, though, because if he, you know, hurt women to the point where they killed themselves, he really was causing women to die.
no, of course, no, that instance I understand, but then he would do that to lesser crimes.
Oh, then he started doing it to, like, everyone.
No, he killed before Felipe. He took matters in his own hands several times. Like, as Robin, he was out of control. That's why fans voted to have him killed off, because originally Jason Todd was a character that was literally just a blonde copycat of Robin. Like, he came from a family of acrobats. This is prior to Crisis on Infinite Earths. Before he had his better origin, where he was a street urchin, who was, you know, his dad worked for Two-Face, and his dad became a John Doe in the river, and all this other stuff. He boosted the tires off the Batmobile. Jason's original origin was literally, he was a carbon copy of Dick Grayson. He was from a family of acrobats whose family was killed by some Batman villain. I don't remember who, because it was the early 80s, and I wasn't really able to pay attention that much as a kid. And also, some of those comics are very hard to come by, like before Crisis on Infinite Earths. Like, they had a whole reset by like 1986, I believe. So prior to that, Jason Todd literally acted just like Dick Grayson did when he was a kid. Holy this, holy that. Batman made him dye his hair from blonde to black so he would look like Robin. That way,
What?
yeah. Originally, the reason why Robins always look
Why
the
would
same.
he dye his hair?
I'm getting to that. You interrupted. The reason why Batman had the Robins dress and act the same is because he was trying to make it so that people thought that Robin was the same person.
Oh.
So the reason why he didn't go to a black or an Asian Robin originally is because he was trying to keep the Robin identity a secret. And if you had characters that looked like the original Robin, then it made things easier. So the reason why Stephanie Brown was so easily tracked down and killed by Black Mask is because obviously Robin was now female. So Black Mask was able to easily find out what her identity was, which led to her being killed.
Yeah, so her looking different and standing out.
Yeah, that's why you can't, if the reason why Robins need to stay consistent in how they look is it has to do with the secret identity thing. And also, like, you know, Batman is trying to fool criminals into thinking that even though Robin gets older, you know, he still looks mostly the same. Now, with Tim Drake had a different style, he had different hair, so you couldn't really do that anymore. So nowadays, Batman could basically get whatever Robin he wanted. But even Tim kind of did look like an updated version of Dick Grayson or Jason Todd for a time.
Now I understand why a lot of the Robins look similar then. That makes sense.
That was the reason. Batman literally forced them to dye their hair, change their mannerisms. I'm serious.
That seems really weird, like...
Well, this is kind of the reason...
You would quit, because it would be like, dude, this is weird.
Right. It's kind of the reason why some writers took some free liberties later on. Like, Frank Miller's Robin run is kind of terrifying, because he treats Robin as a soldier instead of, like, a son. And Batman does horrible things to Robin because he just sees Robin as his lieutenant on his war on crime. So he has him do, especially in the Frank Miller books, like Batman All-Star, Batman and Robin All-Star is a core example of some of the crazy things that Batman did to Robin because he didn't see him as a person, he just saw him as a soldier. And I didn't like that.
I kind of feel like that's, like, very similar to being a pastor's kid, though. It feels like you're not a human being. It's just like, oh, you're here to help out with church stuff, and you're not even a human. There are parents that, you know, see their kids, like, you see, like, online and stuff, like that one guy whose son, he noticed that his son was really good at sports, so he kept taking his son to the gym and pushing his son really hard, and you know, after a while, you may start seeing your kid as, like, instead of a child or your family member, you might see them as, like, you know, like, oh, I'm training them, you know? Like, some people see, like, their children as, like, people that they're training for something instead of, like, actually, like, a family member. Like, it does happen in real life. Like, I mean, I think it happens to some degree to everyone. I think all parents, to some degree, want to train their kids in something. You know what I mean? Like, even doctors that want their kids to be doctors, like, they would, you know, push for that really hard. So, in reality, like, I think it does... I mean, I'm not trying to be that person, but maybe it's like Batman is, like, the extreme stage mom. He's like a sports dad or a stage mom, but to the extreme. Like... there is no difference between him pushing his kids and... But that's what I don't like about Batman in some ways. Is like, I think he should really, like, acknowledge, like, if he adopts them, they need to be, like, he needs to treat them like they're his kids. Like, it's weird to take someone under your roof but not treat them as your, like, because everyone needs a parent, at least one parent, like, two would even be better, but it's just like, you know, like, everyone needs a family, someone that's supposed to take care of them, you know? Like, look at what happens to people who end up in the foster care system. They don't feel like anyone is responsible for them.
Right, so, I mean, but they, you know, they changed stuff. Tim Drake is when they brought back Robin, and they realized, you know what, we don't have to make a carbon copy of Dick Grayson. We can create our own Robin that people are going to like, and we're going to make him different than any Robin beforehand. And how they changed it, they made it so that Robin now was a person who couldn't fight. Robin was no longer an acrobat. Robin was a character that made mistakes.
So Tim was really unique.
Tim was unique because he wasn't the normal Robin archetype. Like, he was a character that we literally watched growing up become a confident superhero. He made a lot of mistakes. He stumbled a lot. He had problems.
Yeah.
But people couldn't stop reading them.
I can't seem to find these bad guys. They're, like, supposedly right under me.
There's not a lot of bad guys anymore. They don't tend to reappear until, like, going back to the Belfry.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting that people say Babs is Donatello when really Tim should be like Donatello. He's the smart one.
In this game, they make her Donatello. They make him like Mikey. Like, they're making a comparison to something else.
Yeah, but Tim is very smart.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would say Tim is probably smarter than Babs. I'm not trying to be that person, but...
Oh, he is.
I would say he is, like... She may be older than him, but I think he's smarter than her.
Yeah, I would agree to that.
She is smart. Like, she can use the computer and talk in a microphone, but I'm doing that right now.
No, that's not what...
I thought that's what she does as Oracle,
No.
is you just stick on a microphone and talk.
Tim is not a hacker. He's not supposed to be. Tim is a detective. So in that regards, he is smarter than Barbara. Barbara is a computer hacker. She's Oracle. Oracle is supposed to have a different skill set than, you know, the Bat family. Every Bat family member is supposed to do something different that makes them unique. You know, Tim is a great detective. Barbara is the tech person. Nightwing is like the big brother type that like keeps the family together. You know.
So the Titans show, they did change one of the Robin's ethnicities, but they never did that before because they were trying to basically make it so like they looked similar so that so criminals would think it was all the same guy.
That was the original plan. Yep, that's why they did that.
And that's why so I didn't even know Jason Todd had to dye his hair. That's weird. That would kind of freak me out.
Well, I mean, from his original version, like when he came back in Crisis on Infinite Earths or whatever, he had his, you know, he had jet black hair to begin with. He didn't have red hair or whatever.
Oh, so they changed his origin. They changed the comics.
Yeah.
They changed why it was jet black.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just gonna go in and out.
I know, I'm waiting till it gets 1,000.
What next?
I know.
I mean, you can, I don't mind if you rest or go out or whatever. I mean, don't really...
I know.
Whatever you want to do, I don't care.
I know.
Okay.
Good luck, hero.
Okay, so let's see.
Hope you do. No.
Now there's crimes that popped up because I did something. So there's little things that can be done here. And not much else anywhere else.
I mean, yeah, because if you think about it, I mean, Robin is just the name for the people that Batman adopts. So I mean, you could look, you could look like anyone. You know, you could adopt any kind of kid. I'm just saying. They say that people usually adopt a kid that's in need, whatever kid.
They
Like
explained
tugs on your leg or whatever when you go to the adoption.
They explained it little by little, but there were times where criminals actually almost figured out that the Robin was new, like Tim Drake, because he acted different, he talked different, and when they Two-Face got in a fight with Tim Drake in one instance, and he was surprised he was actually able to beat Robin, and then a lot of these criminals started to put two and two together, like, wait a second, this is a different Robin. And so, you know, because of Tim Drake becoming Robin, criminals almost were able to figure out who Batman was. They also were able to figure out, hey, wait a second, Nightwing was the original Robin. Very few criminals realize that Jason Todd is the second Robin. Some criminals, like the Joker, knows. Because, you know, when Jason came back to life and he tried to kill the Joker, he pretty much told him, I'm the Robin you killed.
Oh, wow.
And, you know,
but I mean,
he got a reputation that way.
That must have felt good for him to say that, though.
Well, yeah, he planned on killing the Joker and Batman stopped him, so.
I would have killed, I mean...
I know.
Well, I mean, he is a criminal and he murders countless people, Luke.
I would have I mean, that's the one thing I would have done, as, you know.
I mean, it does feel like out of all the people that... It is weird. I mean, I understand, like, Batman doesn't want to cross the line, but it is weird that, like, Joker murders so many people. Like, if he worked for the CIA, he would definitely kill him right away. If he was James Bond, the Joker would be gone, because he'd have a license to kill. It's just that Batman personally doesn't want to cross that line, but if he was, like, a government agent, he would definitely kill him immediately, because he's already murdered so many people. Or he'd put him in a cell for information, but there's no way you can... You can't really... The problem with Joker is you can't really get information out of a crazy person. Like, they're always going to give you the wrong information. If they're already insane, you can't even make them see reason and make them afraid. Because he's not afraid of anything, because he's crazy.
Was that so hard?
That's why it's hard dealing with crazy relatives in real life, because they're not reasonable.
Don't tell the other cops about this.
You're welcome,
okay?
officer.
Just doing what's right.
So that was a save the officer quest. I don't know if we've talked to Renee Montoya, haven't we? Yeah, we did. So basically doing those kind of quests. Oh, but yeah, that's why Tim, like, he was just a character that people really started to. Eventually, Robin was able to fight again, and then some bad guys were like, wait a second, maybe Robin just had an off time or something like that, because, you know, but why does he use a bow staff all the time? Why is he dressed kind of like a ninja now? Why does he have a car? Why does he have, like, you know, and then, you know, eventually even the cops started to realize that Tim Drake was a different Robin, because Batman took, like, super precautions with Tim. Tim had, as opposed to the other Robins that had, like, bulletproof, you know, vests and stuff like that, Tim's cape was bulletproof and fireproof. Tim had a tracking device built into his suit on more than one location, so if one tracker went out, Batman was able to use another tracker to find him. So all the times that Tim was kidnapped, Batman was able to get to Tim much faster than he ever could to Jason or Dick.
But didn't Tim Drake also get angry because Batman hardly let him do anything and hardly even let him go out at all?
His first, like, year as Robin, Batman hardly ever worked with him. And he hardly allowed Tim to do anything other than just basic night patrol. He wasn't allowed to deal with any super criminals. There were times where he had to stay in the Batcave and just do surveillance stuff. He wasn't allowed to go on stakeouts. He had to prove himself, and Batman had to, you know, trust that Tim would be able to handle himself after, you know, years of being trained. So basically, yeah, he was benched quite a bit. That's why when it was so exciting when Jean-Paul Valley became Batman, because he tried to kill Tim, and Tim had to go out on his own. Like, the Robin had to literally leave the nest, and Chuck Dixon did such an amazing job with that run, because he made Robin no longer the sidekick character or the side character. He brought him front and center and made these really amazing storylines that still can't be matched today. Like, very few DC writers can hold a candle to Chuck Dixon's brilliance.
Who tried to kill Tim?
What? Batman tried to kill Tim.
What? That guy?
Nightfall Batman. Yeah, Jean-Paul Valley. He was,
Why would he try to kill Tim Drake?
Because he was crazy, because of the Order of St. Dumas. The first episode of Tim Drake, #1, 1993.
Oh my gosh! St. Dumas, that's the...
What?
That's the famous person I was reading about that worked for Napoleon.
Okay, whatever. So the Order of St. Dumas is an order of knights that are protectors of society.
Okay.
And they use brainwashing to basically set up their agents. So, yeah. Jean-Paul Valley was conditioned at a young age to be an assassin. So he has two types of, like, things going on in his mind that makes him crazy. He has the brainwashing of the cult of the Order of St. Dumas, and then he has Batman's code of honor and the things that Batman's been trying to teach Jean-Paul, because Batman was getting older. He was like, you know, I need a replacement. I need somebody who's younger than me who can do the job as Batman.
Why did he pick a crazy person?
That's exactly what Dick Grayson said. He was like, why did you go and get a complete stranger to replace you rather than me? This was my birthright. And Batman told Dick, he says, you became your own man, and I didn't want you to be Batman. He says, you're following your own path. And Dick is like, doesn't matter if I was doing my own thing. He says, if you needed me, I would have taken your place.
Yeah, that's true.
He says, that's what you trained me for. So, I mean, in the early 90s, Dick Grayson and Batman were always at each other's throats until the comic Batman Prodigal. But anyway, getting back to Tim Drake, 1993, #1. So, Tim Drake is being killed in the Batcave. He's being strangled to death by Jean, who is saying all this crazy stuff that Batman doesn't need a Robin and all this other stuff. And then Tim is able to somehow speak to speak to Jean-Paul to get him to come back to his senses for just a second. And then he does a martial arts move that Nightwing taught him, which disorients like crazy Batman. And then he gets away and he rams his Redbird car into Jean-Paul and escapes. And then he has to set up his own little base. And then from there on out until Batman comes back around, I think it's Robin issue 30.
Who rams What?
Tim rams Jean Paul.
He kills Jean Paul?
No, he has armor.
Oh, he injures him.
Yeah, you've seen what the Nightfall Batman looks like. He's not wearing a
Tim
spandex
has to fight
suit.
the crazy person?
Yeah, he has to escape the Batcave.
With his tiny bow staff and with no training?
He couldn't get to his bow staff. He had to use a martial arts move to incapacitate Jean Paul Valley for a few seconds so he could get away.
I thought Batman hardly gave him any practice.
Robin learned how to fight because Nightwing taught him and other things.
Oh, so he and Dick Grayson hung out then.
And Batman trained Tim Drake for 2 years. Like, for
but
6...
just at home, but not out. He didn't let him fight criminals.
He didn't... Robin didn't get to go out in the field. In fact, if you think about it, Tim Drake was only Batman's partner, in a sense, for about 6 months before Nightfall. Like, before Batman had his back broken, Tim Drake and Batman started to actually work together. And then the Bane stuff happened, and Batman almost benched him because he almost got killed by Killer Croc, who was using Robin to bait Batman into a sewer fight where Batman was almost killed and Tim was almost killed. So Robin got benched. Tim gets benched a lot in the Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil Batman run. It's not until Chuck Dixon where Robin really comes into his own, which is great because it showed like a different point of view in the Batman mythos that had never been done before. Robin had his own solo book. Before, Robin always had miniseries. Like, you know, it'd be like a 6 or maybe 10 issue, like maybe a 1 year thing. And then that would be it. The character would just go back to the Batman books or something like that. But the Robin stuff, whoops, lasted a very long time under Chuck Dixon. And then he handed the baton off to some other talented writers. And then eventually, it wasn't until the New 52 that Tim Drake just started to become a useless character.
What do you... Let's just, like, jumping around or whatever. What do you think of the Titans show? Do you like all the... Like, do you like... I saw a commercial for the Titans show, and I didn't know that was a Titans show, and I was like, wow, this looks really interesting. But they change... Like, they make the Lazarus Pit have rain, and, like, they just do some weird things with it.
Yeah.
But they have some interesting ideas. It's like an Elseworld show, maybe. But they have all the... Because you're talking about all the Robins, they have, like, the Robins talking together in the Batcave and hanging out. I'm sorry to change this.
You're fine.
I read something... I heard something online today which was kind of interesting. I don't know. I'll tell you.
Okay.
Speaking of hardcore training, I read online, or I was watching a video, and they were doing this study on health. It said that to have health that basically would get rid of 90% of your diseases. Like, if you walk more than 10,000 steps a day, you will hardly have any diseases at all and have really good health. But it has to be more than 10,000 steps a day. That's a lot.
That's a lot, yeah.
But it could be possible. Some people work like... They, like, walk 2,000 steps in the morning. Then, like, right after breakfast, walk another 1,000. Then, like, after lunch, they walk another 2,000. And then, like, they'll, like, switch it up. Or they'll, like, walk several blocks, like, every 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking about that because, you know, I don't want to have high blood pressure. Just thinking about it, Luke.
I hear you. Okay, so...
Well, so Tim hardly even got to leave the Batcave at all.
Early on.
And then he had to fight this insane person. Why? Wouldn't Batman know? If Batman is so good at knowing everything, wouldn't he know the guy's insane? That he's brainwashed?
You didn't know.
How would you not know, though?
Because Jean put up a good front, and also Batman was not around when Jean was going crazy because Batman had his back broken.
You can kind of tell if someone's insane, like most people. I mean, I can tell.
I mean, you're asking a guy who literally dresses up as a bat and goes and beats up criminals at night.
Yeah, but Dick Grayson is sane. Yes, he is. He's grounded.
He's more grounded than other things,
Tim
but
Drake is
also...
sane.
Back then, Dick Grayson and Batman were at ends because, I mean, literally, Dick Grayson went to go work with the Titans for a while, and Batman replaced him with Jason Todd. Then Jason Todd got killed.
I don't think Batman is insane, though.
I
If
agree to
was
disagree.
If he was insane, if he was completely zonked out of his mind, if he was nuts, then how is he able to get himself to train every day and not go into depression or not feel stressed out and stuff? He's able to push himself. You have to be pretty good mental state to be able to push yourself that hard every day.
No, you don't.
You're
Like,
saying you could be insane and push yourself?
it can be a coping mechanism. Yep, weightlifting, martial arts. Like,
I thought you get up in the morning like and are like, I feel happy today. Like I'm in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
No.
Time to lift weights.
what he does, even Leslie Tompkins said this, he suppresses his inner pain by forcing himself to do things. Like, if Batman is left alone to his own devices, his trauma and other things would destroy him. He basically buries that stuff. In fact, he has mental conditioning to bury most of his trauma and psychological problems, and he basically uses the Batman as a shield to protect himself, as well as to continue to wage his war on crime. So, at least that's what it was until crazy people in DC Comics took over and they started to change Batman again, and Batman is no longer a mask that Bruce Wayne wears to hide his pain.
But honestly, Batman is a perfect example why, like, people say, like, when you're going through a rough time, you should go talk to a counselor. And I always feel like that's the worst thing you can do, because if you keep talking about your problems, you'll just focus on your problems and then you'll never get over them. That's why you really should get out and do, like, Batman. I mean, I know he's crazy. Well, I still don't think he's insane, but I think it's good to use a coping mechanism like that.
Oh shoot, was this an organ
I mean,
thing?
like, I don't think that means he's insane. It means he has problems. I don't think he's crazy.
Shoot, I don't know where the organ is. Oh, there it is. Not gonna make it.
If he was insane, then how could he keep the mental discipline where he doesn't kill anyone, even when he's pushed to the edge? That, you have to be pretty... You have to have your, what do they call it? Like you have to have your wits about you at all times to not... Because imagine, like, if someone threw him off and said, like, you know, Martha or something, or the wrong trigger word to him, and then he could accidentally kill someone at any moment.
I don't like how they patch this now. So, pretty much, you can't... Before, you used to be able to grab the organ and get it to your destination. Now it's like you can't... Ever since they patched this... Okay, there it goes. Now it's showing. It's harder to do the organ stuff. Before, it used to happen, like, pretty easily. Now it doesn't. Actually, I didn't even select
But
that.
may I ask you, am I allowed to ask a question or something?
Yeah, ask whatever question you want.
I'll ask you about it later. But that one thing, I think, like sometimes, like, if people, like, when Jason Todd was having a problem, like, sometimes you shouldn't leave people like that. I know Alfred was there,
No matter
but,
what my mom said,
like, if
I
you
live
leave
another
him
life.
alone, it would be even worse.
Helping is what I
What do you mean?
Like, when Babs left him alone to go get a burger, she should have stayed there and ordered food out and kept, like, put a blanket on him or kept talking to him or something. You shouldn't, like, leave someone like that. Otherwise, they'll be all alone.
Yeah.
Unless when, like when you have, like, issues and stuff, do you want me to leave you alone, or?
I have different problems than comic book people.
Oh, you haven't gone to a Lazarus pit, that's right.
Right.
I always think, like, people in the comics are the same as real life.
No. There are different people that have different types of trauma. There are people that have dealt with, like, certain things that people being around them when they want to be left alone actually makes it worse. Whereas there are some people that they need people around them to feel better. Everybody's different. Jason doesn't like people to be around him when he's having his attacks. Although, I haven't really seen him have Lazarus withdrawal problems. Because he was only dipped in the pit once. Lazarus withdrawal and problems with the Lazarus pit messing with you is after repeated dips.
They told me in medical assisting, if a person is having a seizure, or they're flopping around on the floor, or they're not breathing, or they collapsed, then you can't leave them. They said legally you have to stay there.
Right, but
And you have
Jason
to call,
wasn't having.
and you have to shout for help, and you have to say, "Can someone please call 911?" And you can't leave. You have to sit there, yell, and ask for someone to. You can't go call 911 yourself. You can never leave them.
In this storyline, basically, Jason is having the kind of like a panic attack, and when people have panic attacks, sometimes they don't want people around, because it just feels like
I
you're.
would want someone around.
When it happened to me, I didn't like it because.
But you should tell people that. I didn't know.
If I ask for somebody to hold their hand or something, it's one thing. But if like people are like asking me all these questions when the world is like caving down on me, it makes the attack worse.
Alright, so what you're saying is Babs did the right thing. That's why he said thank you.
Also because
she gave him some space and it was going to give
that's
him,
his favorite thing in the world to
so
eat.
he could think about getting that.
Yep.
Like he had a good... Like it's like when you're having a rough day and someone, like when you're a little kid and your dad is like, you know what, I'm going to go down to the game store and I'm going to get you your favorite game or rent it at Blockbuster or something. Like, then you can think about something good is going to happen.
Ah, Blockbuster.
I really miss the fact that people used to rent games because how was everyone supposed to afford every $60 to $80 to $90 game that comes out? Just to play it once and then realize it's terrible and then you can't really resell it. You can resell it at GameStop for like $5 after you paid $70 for it. It's just, they should really bring the renting thing back. Who can afford to play every game?
Oh, I was supposed to do a silent.
Even I can't, and I like do games for a job. It's too expensive. It's just too expensive to get everything. It's insane. Don't you think?
Yep, I was supposed to do a silent takedown. I read that one.
You're over.
Yep, I'm over there.
Well, if you're having health issues and you need me to leave, just tell me so
I do.
know.
I do. I have told you.
They told me in medical system you can't leave somebody like that.
If I'm having a stroke, obviously no, I'm not going to tell you anything because you know what to do, but you know.
Well, I just think that it's the same.
No.
If you're feeling sad.
No, it's not the same.
If you're feeling stressed or if you were having collapsing.
It's not the same because
Feels like
you,
it's all the same.
especially sometimes people ask too many questions when people are having problems. Then it makes it worse. Because you feel like you're being suffocated. Or your brain is already being overloaded from the panic and the anxiety that, you know, somebody pestering you is just making it worse. Because you need time to kind of like go through your coping mechanisms and breathe and think, and you know, when you have somebody asking you things and they're getting agitated because you're not responding to them, then it makes it a million times worse. So that's why it's always good to get the person's mind off things. There are different illnesses that require different types of treatment.
I have a question though about Babs.
Yes.
Did she go through training for to be a police officer?
Some incarnations of Babs, yes.
Yeah, because I was gonna say if she went through training for that, she would know what to do if somebody was having a problem.
She wanted to be a police officer her whole life, and her dad said no. He also sabotaged her ability to become a work in the army and other things. So when she was able to get an actual job, it wasn't the job that she really wanted to do. She ended up going to the tech field because her father was being overprotective of her. He didn't want her to get in the same line of work as him.
Yeah, but if that's what she...
That's what led her to become Batgirl in a lot of instances, is he prevented her from doing things.
I mean, what I don't understand is like...
I don't really like that origin of Batgirl, though. I like the one where she has something else she wants to do, and then she ends up becoming Batgirl because of circumstances involving her father and rescuing her dad, but it wasn't necessarily anything about, like, you know, her dad being overprotective or overbearing.
I don't really understand, like, all these, like, people say they're, like, all, like, oh, I'm in modern times, I can do whatever I want, kind of thing. But in reality, they always are like, oh, her dad wouldn't let her. It's like, well, if she's an adult, if she's 18, she can technically do whatever she wants. That's what I don't understand about this. Like, she could just do it anyway and have him be mad at her. I don't understand why there's this huge thing like, oh, my dad won't let me. It's like, well, you could just move out of the house and then just be a police officer.
No, that's not why people don't like Jim sometimes. He made calls, and everywhere she went, he blocked her.
Oh, so she... Oh, so she did move out and try to do it, and then he sabotaged it.
Right. That's why I don't like those incarnations of Barbara Gordon, because I don't like that version of Jim Gordon. The version of Jim Gordon that I remember would never do something like that.
Wow, that would be pretty...
And the versions of Barbara Gordon I like, she never wanted to become a police officer. She had other things she wanted to do.
That's so weird that he would be keeping... I mean, I guess she must have told him, like, hey,
Well,
I applied.
in that version of the world, Barbara Gordon has a brother who became crazy and became a supervillain, and also her mother was also a police officer who was killed in action.
Oh, wow.
Yep. But there are versions of Barbara Gordon, her mom, who was never a police officer or an agent. She was just a normal housewife who was killed. Which is what drove Barbara Gordon to want to become a vigilante, is because her mom was murdered. You know, so, but, like I said, there's different versions of Barbara. You never know.
Yeah.
Is
Barbara
that it?
says, I agree with Kwing.
Wow. Now I know why this game is banned in Russia.
Hello, Drago. What? What's the matter?
They have a Stand With Ukraine flag. Randomly.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
still...
I understand why they do. I mean, it's not, nobody wants anyone to hurt anyone else, but it is kind of... I don't know how the game would sell it. Maybe they would delete that if they were selling it in Russia. Because, I mean, it would be better if they tried not to put... I'm not trying to say I can understand why. I can understand why, because obviously...
Foreign countries have the ability to get rid of flags that they don't want, that are problematic. So I'm sure that there's a way in the code to remove certain things.
It reminds me of when I was researching why they banned Spider-Man No Way Home in China, and then I was reading an article about it, and I was like, wow, this is so interesting. Like, apparently they banned Spider-Man No Way Home in China because and weirdly enough, it was actually edited in Japan by Sony executives in Japan. So literally, the movie wasn't really being edited in America, like for the Chinese release. And they kept sending it back to Japan and saying, "Can you make this?" Like, they sent it back the first time and said, "Could you please make the Statue of Liberty smaller? We don't want it to be so prominent." And like, the Japanese executives at Sony were talking to the people at China, like, that were buying the movie or showcasing it, the movie people, whatever they do, like, whoever runs the movie industry in China, and they were saying, well, no, you know, like, how could we do that? They weren't even saying, like, they were literally trying to figure out how they could do it. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I don't want to do that because of principle. They didn't care. They just wanted the money. So they were just like, well, how could we do that? Because they were saying to them, Spider-Man is literally swinging from the Statue of Liberty. How would we, if we made this small, like, how would you even, how you would be swinging from a small statue? Like, how would you even do it? Like, how would you swing from a small statue? What are you going to be swinging? You have ants swinging from it? Like, they were saying it doesn't make any sense. Then they said, okay, fine. Well, could you just cut out every scene that has the Statue of Liberty? And then they were like, well, that would be the entire last act of the entire movie because it plays such a huge prominent role. It's right there. And he's swinging. Like, all three Spider-Men are swinging from it. So how would we do that?
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, they said, well, unless you can cut all this out, then we won't release it at all. And then, like, basically the Japanese Sony executives were just like, fine. They're like, I guess we won't release it there because they're like, they're like, we wouldn't mind editing it a little bit, but what you're saying wouldn't even make any sense to the plot. Like, how would we even do that? It would be impossible. Like, what the Chinese executives were asking for was absolutely impossible.
Yeah,
like,
but
to edit it out.
There's supposed to be ways that other countries can remove things that aren't connected to their
Yeah, you could
country.
easily edit out flags, like if you didn't like that country or that thing, that flag. I mean, I know countries do that all the time. Like, there was that one Spider-Man, thing where people were like, well, someone made a mod, but they removed this flag or something. And it's like, no, that's not a mod. That's actually another version of the game from another country.
Yeah, they just somehow activated that version of the game.
I don't think Americans or anyone is they're not really aware that other countries don't always agree with everything that America's saying, so they edit stuff out all the time. Like, it's literally all the time. Like, I doubt there's any game, movie, or show that is released in other countries that they don't edit. I mean, they have to constantly edit it all the time. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, every country has their own things they like and don't like. I mean, they're all allowed to have their own things. Like, you know.
Yep. I'm gonna do the Mr. Freeze stuff, like
Okay.
because I want to try it. Last time it didn't work, so I mean, you know, I have to redo it anyway. So, want to try to do something a little bit different. So you're gonna be end up coming with me,
Shoddy
just so you know.
construction.
I'm gonna drag you in with me. Okay, so here we go. Oh, the only problem with putting so many things in your game though is like it becomes like a game that literally has a place in time, whereas when there are these fictional games and you don't include so much real life stuff in it, it's something that can always be just like this is Gotham City. Gotham City isn't necessarily dealing with real world issues. Games that do that fail. They don't succeed. It's just reality. Because it doesn't really add to the replay value because it's like you're subconsciously being reminded of things you don't want to think about.
Well, that's kind of interesting because, like,
It sounds like those scientists are in trouble.
even though, like, Star Wars does kind of look dated, like it's from the 70s, George Lucas did really try, even though you can kind of see from the hair that it's kind of the 70s, he really did try to make that a timeless classic, like, so you wouldn't be able to associate it with the 70s or any time period. And honestly, he did a great job because some people don't even know when the original Star Wars were made, and the Star Wars saga is still around today. Like, it's not in any time period. It's not in the 1970s, 80s, 90s, or 2000 or 2022. It is literally its own universe. So, like, if you want a franchise that's going to keep going and keep making money, it would make sense to make it outside of modern, like, so it's not dated with modern issues of the day.
Yeah.
Like,
And there's nothing wrong with that, but these people that work on this game, they can't. What's so sad about their life is 24/7 they have to rely in order to confirm their identity of who they are. They have to keep their politics on their sleeves constantly. Like, if you remove their ability to talk about political things, they would probably yeet themselves because they have no life outside of that. It bleeds into their work, it bleeds into their downtime. They can't escape it because they never want to escape it. They can't do anything about it. Their whole life is being an activist 24/7. And that's sad. It really is. I pity those people because they don't have a life.
You deserve a break.
You know, they have to be a part of a certain social construct or they go crazy. And you can see right now with that dude taking certain things away from them on social media, they're losing their minds. Celebrities who before were championing people like being deplatformed and all this other stuff, and now that it's happening to them, they're like, you're all hypocrites for doing this to us. It's like, but you were doing this to people for 5 to 6 years.
alright, sweet muffin.
You know, so it's like they're losing their minds.
System's still
Yeah,
active.
but I mean, I think
About that, looks like the regulators hacked the system to target.
I mean, I just call it
anyone
karma,
wearing their
but
gear.
yeah, but like
They walk
everyone,
softly in there.
I think everyone. I think we all have to learn to get away from that to a certain degree.
well, it's not healthy.
Like everyone, no matter what values you're raised with, you're gonna start thinking like, I need to triumph these values in everything I do, and
Oh, damn it.
like I need to always fight. Like they say, like even the Ninja Turtles say, fight for what you believe in. Like something you're taught from when you're a little kid that you need to fight for, and it is good to fight for your ideals. So in a way, it's good. It's just that we get it out of control. That's the problem. Is it goes to the point where you don't have any downtime. That's the main problem. Like that's why I like watching cartoons, because then it helps me to realize like there's more to life than just fighting for everything I believe in or whatever. like, you know, I think even I get guilty of worrying about things too much, so I mean, I'm saying, but I know what you're saying.
I actually somehow survived. Oh crap. He's gonna see me this time.
What should I do? I don't know how to be stealthy here.
Just relax a sec, I'm almost done. I hope they don't come out to where you are. I only need to do one more. Wait, did he see me? Nope, they still haven't seen me. Okay. That's good. At least I don't think they've seen me. Either that or maybe I messed up the game. Come on. Just one more. Just one more. I got him.
I think the main problem with society is we all need to go fight dragons and go on adventures.
You're fine, honey. You can do whatever you want now.
And then we would have something to focus on. Like everyone, we all have. It's just very. Modern society is very stressful. We need something to fight for. We have to work these stupid 9-to-5 jobs every day, and we have to try to get along with people that are rude. And
You're done.
it's very stressful. Modern society is so stressful. We have to get along with family members that hate us, and it's very hard. We all have to act normal. We can't be a Viking and like, oh, you disrespected me? Well, one of us is gonna die now. Like, that would be easier for me. Then the fight would be over. But I find modern society very stressful. I think I would do better in the Middle Ages or in the past, where things were tougher. Because I think it's harder having to try to be. We all have to pretend like we're always fine all the time. We have to try to be a good person, all of us. So it's very difficult.
That's part of being in society, though.
I don't want to live in society, though. It's hard.
Business elsewhere.
That's what I'm saying. We shouldn't have to live in society. Society's terrible.
Well, people need to learn to get along with people that they disagree with.
Luke, I don't want to.
Too bad, so sad. That's the part of the reason why people who can't get along with people either need to be yeeted from society,
Luke!
or they need to learn to get along with people they don't agree
you're
with.
talking about.
I'd say the same to you, because you have to get along with people that you don't agree with.
But it's hard, Luke.
Of course it's hard. That's why it's life.
I know, but it makes your blood boil, and you just don't want to do that.
You just have to let it run off your shoulder. Because you're never going to find people that you're going to agree with 100%. You have to learn to get along with people and work with them. Otherwise, it's not a civilized society.
But who says I want to live in a civilized
society? Okay, so last time this is where the game messed up. So what we're going to do is try to keep it so that people get nowhere near the footprint that we need to scan.
Should I do this?
You can break that if you want to. So I would basically try to lure the enemy away from where the footprint of Mr. Freeze is going to be.
Oh.
That way, never have to worry about it.
Can I throw my batarangs so they'll come near me?
You can drag people over to where you are. Yeah.
Wait, I thought you said we have to do stealth takedowns.
This is a bonus thing. I mean, I don't really care. We've already done the bonus before. It just didn't count. So, I think this is an area where we're not supposed to have things happen. I don't know. I don't remember. There is a camera here. Is there another guy on patrol anywhere near here? How many guys are there? There's 5. Okay. There's a guy in there. There's a guy on patrol. Remember to be constantly scanning because you don't want to walk into an enemy.
I don't like to...
They pop up red on your map.
I don't like to think about it. Like, if people are stressed online and stuff, I don't want to, be like, oh, search them right, because then that's going to happen to me. So, I'll just try to be thankful for what I have.
Doesn't matter, Ember. The thing failed. Just make sure we knock out guys away from the door. They all came back here, so just take them down. No, this is a great place for them. The footstep isn't going to appear here. It's somewhere else. The goal is to keep them away from where that game glitched last time. And we're just not going to pay any attention to it. Okay, good. Check the terminal. It's going to show Mr. Freeze, I believe. Was it this Mr. Freeze picture? Yeah. There we go.
Crap. Freeze is
Okay.
here. Looks like he's the one who hired the Regulator.
Now, we saw where Freeze is, so the next step is...
Before they get what they're after.
Wait, we already got the treasure chest here before, didn't it? No, it didn't count as that. Oh yeah, it did. Okay. Oh, excuse me. My bad. Well, I'm kind of amazed that the program didn't shut down. Head over...
I told you I did this before when I was playing Mario Kart. People were an hour behind. I was just stubborn.
I literally...
I drove everyone nuts. And
I've
I made
had
everyone sad.
late night streams get shut off. In fact, I thought I was streaming, and then like I realized that like Streamlabs kicked me out of my program.
Well, I'm stubborn.
No, I mean I literally ignored all the stuff. Oh my gosh!
What?
That was awesome. That was a cool throw.
Oh.
I mean the person died, but oh well.
I thought you said it's not good to kill people, but you just said that was cool.
I mean it was cool. It's a video game.
But I don't like to talk about it because I know, like, I don't, like, you know, I don't want anyone to get banned from Twitter. I hope everyone is happy and feeling happy.
Okay. See where that guard is? We cannot beat somebody. We cannot...
Oops.
It doesn't matter. I don't care. Do not beat up anybody in the front. This is where the stupid footstep is, so do not have anybody knocked down over here. Like, push them all out of this area. This is where the footstep is, like, right in the front. Have them come after you. Because we do not want one of their stupid bodies to be lying on top of the footstep again, because we will never get past this quest. Shoot. No, 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 dang it, stay away.
I'm fighting them there, though.
I didn't mean to.
Shouldn't be
But
too hard
you're
to
all the
track
way
him
over
from
there,
here.
I'm over here, exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Okay.
I thought we live in a society, but you're the one not being in society right now.
There we
Looks
go,
like a
finally.
suit's leaking
I
cryogen.
was all over here doing my job, like you said.
So this was 132. 46. Freeze footsteps. Finally. Okay. Now we can leave. Now we can do this. Yoink. Oh my gosh.
Hey nerds, check out my new toys. Introducing Coney Pigeon and the marvelous Pew Pew. With these drones, we usher in a new
Red Hood packs a
generation of
punch.
remote-controlled pain.
Oh, that's cool, Ben.
Freeze left
Ben
me
says,
a nice trail to follow.
George Lucas made it set in another universe, but he was also inspired by World War II dogfights.
Yep.
But he made it a generic sword and sorcery fantasy. That's awesome, Ben. Very cool. And I did see what you said about the symbols that Germany doesn't allow in their games and movies, and that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
We do have a lot of German viewers, and we definitely don't like hearing about that.
Well, I mean, it's not fair because other societies have had like bad dictators and things like that, and they're not brought up anymore. Like
Yeah,
people always bring
people
up,
keep bringing it up, even though, you know, not everyone.
like, I mean, just to play devil's advocate, the French did terrible things like during one point in history.
Yeah, the reign of terror.
Italians did terrible things during the times of the Romans.
Every society has had horrible points.
You knew how this was gonna end.
And that's the thing, is like, it's not because, like I said on the one Indiana Jones game that we were doing, which I felt it was wrong the way they were portrayed, because I said it's not Germans. I said this was one.
This must be where Freeze
This was
lost
one
his
faction
cool.
that took over Germany and bullied all of Germany into having to support them, even though not everyone was Not everyone wanted to. They had to because they were using violence to take over the country.
Yep, it was a political
And
party who grew too much power, and then they got their own private security force.
They had so much power, nobody could stop them. Even if you disagreed with them, you couldn't say anything. So it wasn't that all Germans agreed with them, which that's completely false.
I know. Alright, so let's follow the footsteps, and we're gonna go do the rest of the freeze section, which should be this way. Alright. Moving on.
Yeah.
Let's go through the door. What? Follow the trail. I am following the trail. Why isn't it working? Or wait, which way does the trail go? Which way? Oh, the little robot toes point in this direction. Okay. So then this way. You have to look for the little weird raptor feet, because that's Mr. Freeze's feet.
Not to push in a point or anything, but even when I visited Germany, there was some churches we visited that were part of a huge resistance thing that was there the whole time. And they were fighting against that the whole time. I'm just saying.
Wait, what? Oh, we gotta go up. It's been a while since I did the Mr. Freeze mission. Is there any chests in here? Where does this go, actually? Or is there more than one grapple point?
So, did Jason Todd and did Jason Todd and Babs ever get together? Because she apparently got together with Tim, who's younger than him.
Regrettably, there
Oh
is...
no, please. Oh my god.
There is an Elseworlds comic continuity where they did date, yes.
So, is there any Elseworlds story in which Babs dates every Robin? Because it is kind of weird, like, that she's hanging out one-on-one with all these, like, young guys.
That has to do with the writers.
I feel like that's a little creepy. Like, she shouldn't be hanging out with guys 6 years younger than her. And then being like, oh, wow, we're stuck in this...
Why do you think they made Dick Grayson and Babs the same age now? Is because they didn't like that whole cougar mentality of Batgirl.
Yeah, I think Batgirl, they really make her
Freeze is
a
likely
word I
somewhere
can't say.
above your location.
She likes them young. Rather she did.
This is wrong. Good thing Stephanie Brown is just with one guy. Oh wait, there is no Stephanie Brown.
No, Stephanie Brown exists. She's just ignores all the stuff that
She's
happened.
on the bench.
She thinks that Tim cheating on her was the best day of her life. Or at least that's what that terrible writer said.
I'm sorry, but no matter who you ended up with, if you ended up with someone after me, I don't care who they were, I would never say it was the best day of my life.
Right.
And there would definitely be some hair pull out of the other person.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's normal.
I mean, I would be on them. I would make sure my nails were sharpened, and if we were in a McDonald's, there would be chairs all over the place.
These weirdos.
I would not give you up without a fight. I would make sure the girl had some permanent scars on her that she could remember.
These people, they live in a fantasy world where they believe when they do something wrong that if the person doesn't forgive them right away and stuff, that there's something wrong with that person because they're hateful of who they are now.
No, she's just mad because you took her man. Like, of course you'd be mad.
Right. So in their delusion, they had to make Stephanie Brown be okay for Tim hurting her and breaking her heart and making her get over it within a week.
I wouldn't.
And wanting to meet the person who's now with Tim. Like, and if that didn't happen, then it's like, it's a problem because then Stephanie is the problem for not accepting. So, you know.
Why would it be her? What would be her
I'm
job,
just saying why these people are so delusional.
It's not her job to accept anything. She can act however she wants. She
Exactly.
doesn't have to react how they wanted to react.
Exactly. But they make her react that way because they're trying to prove a point in their fantasy world that it's okay for them to hurt people as long as they're happy. That's the delusional state that a lot of these people are sick. Like most of these Twitter, like DC people, they're deranged lunatics, and a lot of them have mental illness. A lot. Which people used to be treated for this stuff. Now they're just allowed to be like, I'm okay this way. It's okay for me to be a narcissist and a gaslighter and all this other stuff. It's totally normal.
Yeah, like the way that they hurt people online and mess with people for fun. It doesn't seem like they're like psychologically sound.
No, they're not all there. And they're given jobs of authority to mess with people's childhood. That's the terrifying thing.
one of his proteges would come eventually.
You've been busy, Freeze. I stopped your boys from taking Star Labs data.
Whatever my associates are after is their business. I have what I came for.
So why are you here? What was worth killing those guards for?
My time is valuable. I will not waste any more of it talking to you!
Halon system compromised. Please vacate the area.
We're running out of air. Help us! Use the railgun!
Mr. Freeze doesn't sound like himself. That's because they changed Mr. Freeze. I can tell you guys about what they did to Mr. Freeze in this game, but after Red Hood's done talking. So, Batgirl actually says something very mean and bad about Mr. Freeze after you complete your last Mr. Freeze quest, which unfortunately kind of echoes a mentality with a lot of Batman writers. It's why they've continued to ruin Mr. Freeze and a lot of other people. Like, they will say things like, Batgirl stands up for Harley Quinn for Harley Quinn being a psychopath. She yells at, or she doesn't yell at the boys, but she basically, you know, that thing sometimes people do.
Like, cuts them off.
She cuts them off and she like talks down to them like, well, you don't understand what it's like for Harley. She's brilliant and she was led astray. It's like, but she wasn't really led astray. She did things on her own accord. Now, the original Harley Quinn, the one that Paul Dini wrote, yeah, she was influenced by the Joker and she became an anti-hero, but this Harley Quinn, she does a lot of terrible things. She literally becomes like the Mad Hatter, implanting things inside of people's minds. You know, she literally tortures people to put like microchips inside of them and make them into her mind-washed zombies. But Batgirl stands up for Harley.
You can't use that excuse that you're controlled by someone if you're over 18, though. It's your decision who you let control you at that point.
Right, but that's why Harley took, like, classic Harley, written by Paul Dini, she eventually, like, you know, takes charge of her actions and she changes.
I mean, you can be brainwashed by people and people
They
can
call it coercion.
People can put you under duress and people can hurt you and abuse you to the point where you can do stuff you didn't want to do. But yes, and you can probably sue them for that, etc. But ultimately, at some point, you have to take your own brain and think, this person is abusing me constantly. I need to get out of this situation. I need to call the YWCA or the YMCA and get out and go to the Salvation Army and get some food and get out on my own and not be controlled by somebody anymore. Like, you have to leave. Like, you, at some point, being an adult, you have to somehow get your brain. At some point, you have to make your own decisions, you know? Like, even if it's really bad, you have to be able to get out of that situation.
Let me get back to the point, though. So, pretty much, Batgirl is defending Harley Quinn all the time when Harley Quinn does terrible things.
Yeah.
So, when they get to the Mr. Freeze section, after the Robins are talking about how they feel bad and Alfred feels bad for Mr. Freeze's circumstances, Barbara chimes in and she says that I heard a few days ago, actually, when I was editing my Secret Identity video that went up today, I was rewatching it, and I didn't comment on the time because I was already so wicked tired when I was recording it that I wasn't really paying attention. It's hard for me to hear all the stuff that they're saying. I just kind of clam up and let people listen to the dialogue. So I turned up the dialogue, and I heard Tim, like, being sympathetic toward Freeze, and Barbara starts to chastise him. She's like, you know, no, Mr. Freeze would never be okay if Batman actually cured him, because she says, what was wrong with Mr. Freeze is just, like, how bad of a person he was. And she says, everything was revealed the type of person he is. So no matter what Batman did to fix Freeze, Freeze would never be fixed, because it's not his condition that made him the way he is.
Yeah, like, you were telling me this yesterday, saying, like, she said he was always bad. It just revealed who he was. Or something.
Right. That is the mentality that a lot of really bad DC writers have today, is that certain characters aren't redeemable because they don't believe in redemption. And also, there's no easy way to say this, but the woman who wrote this game sees men as the enemy. So Mr. Freeze, who was one of the most sympathetic and, like, heart-wrenching character that people felt sorry for, in this game, she literally turned him into a generic cold villain that has no emotion. He's just mean, he laughs all the time diabolically, which he does when you do the Mr. Freeze's boss fights. He laughs maniacally and he enjoys hurting people. That's not Mr. Freeze.
No.
That hasn't been Mr. Freeze for over 40 years.
His whole thing is like, his whole thing of being frozen is it's symbolic because
it freezes his emotions. He's not human anymore.
He's not. He doesn't have any. He would cry if he has any more tears to shed, but he has no. He's already cried so much because he's gone through so much pain.
He's not human anymore.
He can't even go through any more pain because everything has been taken from him again and again.
Right, but the lady who wrote this, she furthers a stereotype that's not true, that, you know, men can't be people that are emotional or have problems or, like, become villains because of circumstances.
Just
and,
because
you know,
guys don't show their emotions on the outside as much as girls do doesn't mean they aren't having just as many emotions as girls. They're just not showing them out.
Right. So basically the mischaracterization of Mr. Freeze further proves how right I am, because the lady who wrote this definitely had an agenda that she was doing, because she did the same thing to the Joker too. The Joker literally kills Jason Todd in this universe with Harley Quinn, which Harley says, like, they're responsible for killing Jason. And then the Joker, what he does is he runs away out of fear. That's not the Joker.
Yeah, he would
the Joker never runs away, because messing with Batman is his whole MO. It's his whole job. Like, knowing that he killed a Robin, he would be celebratory of it. He wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, I need to be... I'm sorry for what I did. I didn't mean it to go this far.
No, he would never
right.
that, because that was the whole point. He meant to hurt Batman.
So in this game... It's
like a war or something. Like, he meant to hurt him.
Most of the men are written as villains. Like, they're all... Only, like, a lot of the females and the Bat family are portrayed in a nice light. Like, every other male character in this is either killed off or they're treated with contempt. Which is true.
Yeah, I mean, that really hurts to see Mr. Freeze treated like that.
But Mr. Freeze had character assassination in this
Thank God you came when you did.
Good work getting the call out.
He took all of our cryogel. It's enough to drain the thermal energy from Gotham 3 times over.
That would freeze the entire city. We won't let that happen. Sit tight. GCPD will be here soon. Tell them everything you told me.
I will. Again, thank you.
Like, this is why a lot of Batman villains were given, like, a lot of psychological evaluation treatment by, like, really talented writers, is because they were trying to add depths and layers to the characters so that people reading them would find something that, okay, in the 60s and 50s, that is the type of villain Mr. Freeze would have been. Your generic cold guy that's stealing diamonds or trying to turn the world to ice. It's a trope that has been done to death, like, 50 years ago.
What game had the Cold Heart DLC again? Arkham...
That was Arkham Origins, and that was done by the previous Warner... not Warner... the WB Games Montreal former writer, who is no longer with the company.
That was so good, the way they... The fact that that was so well done. I was literally crying on that. And, I mean, the way that Mr. Freeze was on that DLC... proved that Nora said, I don't want you to do this anymore, like, I want, you know, I want this to end, and he actually...
No, that was Rocksteady.
Oh, that was Rocksteady. That was the one I liked.
But the guy who did Arkham Origins still did a better job than this lady writer.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, that when Rocksteady showed that Mr. Freeze was trying to do that for Nora because he felt like he had to keep doing things to cross the line because he wasn't rich. He worked for Ferris Boyle. Ferris Boyle was rich. Ferris Boyle took his wife from him when he had every resource and ability to save his wife. He had the possibility to do it, and Mr. Freeze was almost there. He was almost at. He was right there. He could have figured out how to save his wife. Mr. Freeze was a brilliant scientist. All he had was his own... The only superpower he had was his mind, his brilliant scientific mind. That's why he if he was rich, Mr. Freeze wouldn't have to steal and use his cold gun to steal stuff because he would already have tons of facilities. He would have a really nice facility to keep his wife in, but he didn't have the money for that. He, you know, that was Ferris Boyle that had that. He had to, as far as I remember, Mr. Freeze had to keep robbing places so he could get the money to basically make the makeshift thing to save his wife and keep his wife from dying.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought, and he was actually robbing people out of desperation to save Nora.
Yeah, that was his whole thing.
It was literally desperate. Like,
but
it would be like if one of your family members was dying, and if you robbed someone, you might be able to save them. Well, some of us would do that.
You can't reason with these lunatics, though, because they don't believe in true love. They don't believe in a relationship between a man and a woman. That's a problem for them.
But Mr. Freeze loves his wife.
I know, but you're interrupting.
Yeah.
They don't believe in that stuff. So a character that would literally do something and sacrifice something for someone else, like literally putting his life on hold to try to find a cure and doing everything he can to save his wife, that is no longer relatable to freaks and weirdos online.
I relate to that. I think
Right.
that story is beautiful.
Well, that type of story is timeless, though. It's something that it appeals to people's like morality and their soul.
You want to help Mr. Freeze, and that's why in the animated series,
it's a heartbreaking story.
He got him a facility so he wouldn't have to commit crimes anymore.
Right.
And that's what, and he stopped then mainly. For a while at least, I don't remember.
Mr. Freeze only showed up 2 times in the animated series. After he was able to, like, he actually, like, when Ferris Boyle got taken down, he kind of stopped being a villain. Like, Mr. Freeze, if you go back and you watch the animated series, Mr. Freeze appears in the Cold, Heart of Ice episode. I'm getting them confused with the video game.
I'm sorry.
And then he actually is serving his sentence. And then near the end of the show, like, he is broken out of prison by some type of... you have to go over to your case files, honey, or it won't let you proceed. Yeah, once you read your case files, then I can invite you. So anyway, after Mr. Freeze is serving his time for, you don't know how long it is. Like, Ferris Boyle's been arrested, and Mr. Freeze is in Blackgate. He's not in Arkham because he's not insane, right? He's not one of the crazy people. So he's sitting there, and this dude who's obsessed with mortality, this aging billionaire, breaks Mr. Freeze out of Blackgate, kidnaps him, and forces him to recreate the experiment that created Mr. Freeze so that he could live forever.
Oh my god.
Because at the time, it appears that this billionaire thinks that Mr. Freeze has found a way to cheat death. And this guy would like to become like Mr. Freeze.
Who would want to become like that? Mr. Freeze lives in, like, his own personal hell.
Right, but then what the writers did, which was interesting, is when they brought Mr. Freeze back, they made it so that the condition that created him, unbeknown to Mr. Freeze, it was actually killing him.
Oh, wow.
So they added another layer to the Mr. Freeze onion. So Mr. Freeze was becoming a character that was completely no longer human. The only part of him that survived in the later episodes of the animated series, known as the New Batman Superman Adventures, was just the head of Mr. Freeze.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
And he came back.
Creepy.
Yep, he came back and he appeared a couple times, but he didn't play that big of a role again because Mr. Freeze is a character that you just need to sprinkle a little bit for him to be a compelling and interesting character to get people's attention.
I feel that the times in which Nora moved on with someone else, I feel that's so wrong. Because if some guy lives their whole life stealing scientific equipment to try to keep you alive, whether they become a criminal or not, that person loves you a lot. Like, you cannot leave them at that point. That's my personal opinion. Like, you cannot do that to somebody. He's literally trying to save your life to the point where he's literally crossing the line and getting rid of his own morality, his own humanity, you know, leaving everything. I'm sure he didn't want to become a criminal. He was doing it out of desperation. I really believe if somebody did that for me, even if I didn't want to be like always like, oh hey, I don't want to like say you're okay as a criminal, but I would never end up with someone else. I would be like, you spent your whole life to save my life. I'm not gonna just go off and gallivant with some other guy and be some weird Nora floozy.
Okay. But
so I don't like that at
yeah,
all.
I didn't like that they did that because I feel like
that's very
they didn't need to bring Mr. Freeze back after the Sub-Zero movie is basically the finale of Batman the Animated Series. That direct to video animation that showed Mr. Freeze do everything he can to save like Nora, and then Nora comes back and she's healed. He's happy. He's living somewhere with like the kid he adopted. You know, he's no longer in his freeze suit. He's got 2 polar bears as his like companions. He has a broken leg and he has some problems after surviving the oil finery thing. But his story was complete. The fact that they brought him back and they turned him into a robot so he could appear in more episodes, I think that was a poor decision on Bruce Timm's part, because Paul Dini, Alan Burnett, they had made a beautiful conclusion to the character. And then when they brought him back and they made him a robot, then they basically made Mr. Freeze a generic character. Almost like they erased all that beautiful continuity that they've written. You know?
Yeah, thank you for the super chat, Brooks. Says, in that woman's eyes, all men in that woman's eyes, as men, we could never win. She flipped the role, and he's finding a cure for him. He's finding a cure for him. Oh, in this game? He's finding a cure for himself?
No, Mr. Freeze was not finding a cure for his wife.
Oh. Luke, do you know where Nora is in this game, says Brooks?
Nora broke up with Mr. Freeze. Nora was cured in this universe, and then she broke up with Victor.
See, after a guy turns blue and literally, you know, would happily commit a crime for you, I think at that point, you really can't break up with them, I feel. It's wrong. Thank you, Brooks. Let me see your super chat. Jacob, sorry about that.
In fact, we can read the Mr. Freeze bio if you guys want to see it. Like, it's in this game. They tell you about, you go to your, where is it, villain database?
Luke, can you see what Jacob super chatted?
No.
You can't go back? Doesn't it show you?
I have to go somewhere else on the channel.
Okay. It doesn't show it in the...
There's Brooks.
Okay, I have Jeremiah Salem has subscribed. Blake has subscribed. Let me see over here. Maybe we can look here. How do you do this?
I don't know, sweetheart.
Jacob.
That's a day ago.
Look, Batman. It's possible Hush could be an enemy villain. Jacob Langlet is super chatted. I got a Hello Kitty Advent calendar!
Okay.
Awesome! Cool, Jacob! I see your super chat. Oh, I want one. Cool. Thank you, Jacob Langlet.
Here, I'm going to read Mr. Freeze's thing. Victor Freeze is a brilliant scientist with an unfortunate condition that requires his body to operate at sub-zero temperatures. As Mr. Freeze, he is one of the oldest adversaries of Batman. He long promised he would reform once he found a cure for his wife Nora's condition. However, after her recovery, she rejected him because of the atrocities he committed in her name. Now he seems to be headed down a very dark path. I'm working to develop an antidote for his condition, but until he accepts responsibilities for his actions, he will never truly be cured. Batman would never do that. He would never withhold treatment. This is more nonsense of Twitter. He would never do that. Ever. Ever. That would make Batman a villain. Right there it says, I'm working to develop an antidote, but until he accepts responsibility, he will never be truly cured. So he is withholding treatment.
That's not what he would do, because Batman helps people and then tells them that they should start to try to be a better person.
Right.
But he helps them anyway.
This woman needs to be fired.
That's not what's helping people. You don't help people if they change.
The problem is that she is creating a toxic environment for Batman.
She's literally making Batman like her.
A villain. Yes, she's making Batman like her.
She's making it like her because she wouldn't help someone unless they agreed with her.
That's what it sounds like.
So she's making him like the way she is, which is evil. Yep. She's not going to help Mr. Freeze unless he admits that he was wrong and he agrees with her.
I mean, where do they find these people? Like, the guy who actually wrote Arkham Origins? The guy who wrote Arkham Origins did his homework. he made some continuity errors within like Rocksteady's sandbox. I admit that. But he actually wrote a pretty good story. He even wrote some really good DLC when they incorporated Mr. Freeze into the Arkham universe.
There's Sons of Gaming says, Amber, yes, Freeze basically went through heck and back for Nora and she left him.
Yeah.
So Sons of Gaming. See, this is a kind of... The thing is, like, if Mr. Freeze did this like the way Joker does for Harley, where he does it, that's just crazy.
I bet, I've never read Harley's thing, but watch them be sympathetic to Harley Quinn. And blame the Joker for everything. Here we go. Where is
But I'm saying
Villain
Mr.
Database?
Freeze didn't kill people because he enjoyed it. Mr. Freeze did what was necessary because he was trying to save Nora. He wasn't trying to hurt anyone. In fact, I thought several times in the animated series he said, "Get out of the way, Batman. Like, you don't understand. I have no choice. Like, I have to do this. Please get out of my way." And, like, he was asking people to get out of his way so he could just get the materials he needed.
Okay.
That's what I believe. And so, in reality, she shouldn't really say, "Oh, I'm leaving you because of the atrocities," because he didn't really commit atrocities. He turned to crime, but he didn't become evil.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, here's Harley Quinn. This is what the writer has to say about Harley Quinn in her infinite and stupidity. I guarantee you she's going to make Harley Quinn have a victim complex. Here we go. Harley Quinn. Harley's incredibly agile and uses her acrobatic kicks and flips mixed with a massive sledgehammer to fight through anything in her way. Determined and incredibly stubborn, Harley got an intimate sense of her own abilities and will never stop. Previously, Dr. Quinzel, a rising star in the field of psychology, turned to a life of crime and feeding on the chaos it offered. She worked with my worst enemy for some time before going her own way. Harley had recently shown signs that she is interested in rehabilitation, and I want to believe she's capable of it. I have recruited her to assist me with something on my latest case, something she is uniquely qualified to help with. My hope is that she will get a taste of the good she can do, and that she may help her turn over a new leaf. So he's being sympathetic to her, but he's completely closed off Mr. Freeze and just doesn't care. Like, he's simping for Harley, and he sees Freeze as, like, a problem. Like, Freeze will never truly be cured. I'm withholding stuff from him. So, I mean, yeah, it's just nonsense.
I mean, it just reminds me of the, well, it's...
Nonsense.
I mean, if... I'm sorry, but I don't want to be this person, but... Never mind, forget it. If nothing... Batman isn't being a good person because Jesus says if you have the ability to do something good for someone and you don't do it, then that is a sin.
Batman literally...
You shouldn't withhold good from people if you have the ability to do it. That's wrong.
This is why I believe, honestly, in my heart, that people who work for Warner Brothers, you have to watch the animated series. Just to get a basis of the character. Just 85 episodes before you start working on a big project. You don't have to memorize it, but you need to take it to heart. There is a scene in Heart of Ice, written by Paul Dini. There is a criminal that tries to kill Batman. The criminal gets wounded by Mr. Freeze. What does Batman do? The man is pleading for help, begging, crying, even though he tried to kill Batman. This woman would have had Batman leave this person to die. What does Batman do? Batman shows his humanity and his compassion for a fellow human, takes him back to the Batcave, sticks him into some type of, like, infrared heated tank so that the man doesn't die of hypothermia before turning him into the police. That is a Batman that shows that he cares about his fellow man, no matter their circumstances or if they're good or bad. The writers today in DC Comics are not capable or even have the shred of humanity to be able to write these characters justice. They do not.
But, like, okay, yeah, I agree with what you were saying before, Twin, where, like, a long time ago where we were talking about Jason Todd, that Joker would kill Jason Todd and then he would want Batman to come kill him. I think that's true. Thank you for the super chat. Brooks says Batman legit was gonna cure Joker in Arkham. Yeah, he was, even though Joker tried to kill him multiple times and killed everyone.
And that's why Joker find it
Chad
funny.
Akarui says the White Knight Batman is waiting for Freeze's apology. That is so Twitter, says Chad. Thank you, Chad and Brooks, for the super chats. Thank you, Garrett, for the super chat. Said I don't mind Freeze's return in the new Batman Adventures because then we got the episode Meltdown and Batman Beyond, which was a great tragic ending of the character IMO.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I agree, Sons of Gaming. Thank you again for the super chat. Highlighted message. Yeah, if some guy went through heck and back for me, even if they crossed the line, you have to understand why they did it. They did it because they were trying to save your life. If someone tries to save your life, I think that, you know, like there's something I think, well, it's beyond my, I'll have to like research more, but basically I remember hearing something about Greek mythology where they had this idea where there were different types of morality. Like there was morality where you obey the laws of your kingdom or your town. But then there was a higher form of morality, like you taking care of your family or you trying to save somebody's life. Like there were things that go beyond, like even if the rules of your society said you shouldn't do that. Like Freeze trying to save his wife's life goes beyond rules of morality. Like she can be like, oh well, you weren't moral, you didn't do this in a moral way, but he was trying to save her life. So it was completely understandable. Like, I'm not trying to say it's good to commit crimes, but I'm saying she should realize that her value to him as his wife was more valuable than the rules of society. The laws of society did not matter as much as she was the only thing in his life. Everything else didn't matter. Nothing mattered.
That's why it was tragic.
Right, because it was like, yes, those laws are important, but this is my wife. Like, this is my wife, and I don't care anymore. Like, this is more important than the law, like, you know? And in reality, there was like a Greek play about that or something where in reality, they even understand, even the ancient Greeks understood that someone in your family or caring about someone that you love is more important than the rules of society, because sometimes it transcends the modern, like, yes, you have laws like obey the traffic and stuff, but you know, some things are more important than the law. Truthfully, I mean, I'm not trying to say I just do believe that. I think the way the Greeks were right about that, because there are moral laws internally within us that are more important than the laws of society, like taking care of our grandmother, saving our wife, taking care of our children, things that you feel internally that you know you have to do, that is more important than obeying the law. And no matter if I'm allowed to say that or not, I do believe that is true.
Well, politicians make and change the laws all the time.
Right, and that's why I believe that you have moral laws built inside of you, that no matter what the law is telling you, if the law is saying you can't steal a loaf of bread to feed your kids, your internal law, if your child is about to die from starvation, your internal moral law inside of you is telling you, I need to steal this loaf of bread because my child is going to die. And that's what Mr. Freeze was saying inside himself. The law is telling me I cannot break into these facilities and take this. My wife is going to die. Like, I need to save my wife. This is more important than the law. And in reality, I agree. I think that I think there should be more philosophical things, like how the Greeks used to put on plays like that, and I think people should talk about that more, because I think that people should realize that you should care about your own family more than the law. You should take care of, do the right thing that's inside. There are certain things that you need to do that are right, that maybe you're going to have to break the law to do it.
Well, they didn't make... One of the big differences, though, with Mr. Freeze in the animated series, they didn't make him a killer. Like, he didn't kill anybody. The only person he planned on killing was Ferris Boyle, and Batman took that guy off the board.
And someone had an interesting comment saying, well, maybe she was saying he could no longer morally be helped. But that's what we're saying. We're saying he could. Interesting. The animated series and even Batman believed, and I personally believe, that no one is beyond saving. Like, the most hardened criminal has some humanity in them. Like, they can...
Unless they're the Joker.
Unless you're completely insane and lost it, but that's like the... But it's like, most people, even, see, the Arkham games, the thugs, they were talking about how they... A lot of the thugs in the Arkham games, they were just taking a paycheck to feed their family. And you could completely relate to it. And you could kind of be like, oh, he's getting a toy for his daughter. And you could get... It's kind of like the, like Will Smith's character in the Suicide Squad, where he was doing everything to help his daughter. You could really feel that. Because it was like, okay, he didn't want his daughter to have a hard life, so he was going to be immoral so she could have a better life. Yeah, and even Michael Keaton's character in where he was the Vulture, where he was working hard and he was a criminal, but he was trying to take care of his family. I mean, you could kind of relate to that. I'm not saying everything they did was right, but I'm saying, like, you could feel what they were feeling, and personally for me, part of me might end up doing that. I don't know. Depends. What?
Don't make like declarations of crimes
I'm not
online.
saying I'm just saying if I had to.
Okay, you're making.
Okay, but anyway, I'm just saying, like,
you can say that they're relatable because of human stories, but you don't want to go and admit guilt to doing certain.
Well, I haven't done anything. I hope it never comes to that. But I mean, it's just my family.
And there you go.
But anyway, all I'm trying to say is, like, by saying that Mr. Freeze, who is the most sympathetic villain, is unredeemable, is saying all the rest of them are unredeemable as well, because he is the most redeemable one. He cares about his wife so much, and he literally was so sad he had nothing else, he didn't know what else to do. It's like these Twitter people don't understand that, like, a lot of people that go to jail and stuff and commit crimes, a lot of times they don't even mean to do that. Like, they're literally like, I mean, I'm not saying they don't plan it, but I'm just saying, like, they get in the wrong situation and it happens before they know it. They're in, you know, they get in a bad group of people and they ended up, you know, it happens really fast. They don't, no one plans to become a criminal. No one starts out like that. No one, you know, we're all human beings. Like, they just get in the wrong crowd and things just, push comes to shove and it just kind of happens.
There are people that want to watch the world burn, though.
Well, I mean, I know, but I'm just saying, like, a lot of people don't, though. A lot of people get into bad situations. And it's better to think positive about the world than negative, and it's better to assume that someone is a good person than to assume they're not. I think that's better. And I'm just saying, like, for Mr. Freeze, who's obviously a character that's redeemable, by saying that he's not redeemable is wrong, because I believe that everyone, if you're still breathing, you still have some humanity left in you. Even people, you know, on death row, they ask for forgiveness to the families and they realize they did the wrong thing, like later in life.
Some of them do.
I know, but I'm saying there is still a... That's what I'm saying, though. Batman believes that everyone has a chance. He's going to give everyone a chance. You know? That's the whole point, but these people on Twitter don't want to give anyone a chance.
Right.
Right, and that's wrong because it's such a horrible way to look at other human beings, as if you're better than them. Because you don't know, if you were in that circumstance, you might have done the same thing. Because everyone gets stressed out.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Alright. So yeah, that's why I really believe that people, if they're going to be attached to these big IPs, they need to spend just a little bit of time researching something. And it's not like... It comes down to laziness with a lot of these Batman writers, is they're like, well, you know, I don't want to read about what happened before because I'm creating my own canvas. And it's like, but when you create your own canvas, stuff that people have already established that's better than yours, that you could build on, and you could improve, or you could add to, you take away from. And you basically tear down, like, other people's, like, beloved versions of these characters because of your laziness. And that's exactly what a lot of these people do.
Sons of Gaming, thank you for the super chat. Says Amber, sadly these people don't have moral laws.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have a moral internal law that tells them, I feel very angry about this comic book character, but I don't want to scream at this, you know, 14-year-old child on Twitter and make them hurt them, you know, hate themselves or something, because I'm
these are adults.
I know, but they scream at kids on Twitter.
They scream at anybody who has a disagreement
right,
with them.
and if they had a moral law, they would know that that would be wrong to treat people like that. They don't have a moral.
They don't. A lot of them act like kids.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Sons of Gaming. They don't have any humanity. It's like they're literally projecting who they are onto the villains in this story. They don't have any humanity left. Therefore, they don't make Freeze have any humanity.
No, they don't know how to write. Like, they don't, like, they literally have, their argument is that they don't, like, have all this research and all this stuff. They're just too lazy to do it. Like, the person that this lady replaced was actually a very talented scriptwriter and did a great job with the Arkham Origins and some of the mobile games that they worked on. And she replaced him as the lead writer and all this other stuff. And her works before this were laughable. She doesn't have any talent.
May I just say something?
Sure.
If you knocked over a bunch of places for stuff to save me, and I didn't want to be associated with you because you were a hardened criminal, I would make a little house next to yours. If I couldn't, and then I wouldn't be dragged away by the police, but I would still come see you every day. And we could still be married, but maybe I wouldn't be associated with you. But I definitely wouldn't want to get together with somebody else. So Nora's totally a tramp for dissing the guy that saved her life.
Yeah, I don't.
That's rude.
I don't like how they did that. I don't like that version of Nora. My favorite version of Nora is the Arkham Knight Nora. Like that story broke me. But we're not going to get a type of story like that with that. It's just not happening. Are these all police? Oh no. Yep, it's all police. Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so I have kind of exhausted all the stuff I can do. I have to go back to the Belfry.
That's fine.
I don't believe there's anything else.
It's for... The thing is, like, she's saying, like, well, someone was saying, well, maybe they're saying she's not redeemable, but that's the thing, like, I believe everyone is redeemable, no matter what, and Batman believes everyone is redeemable.
Yeah, this is why...
He would always give criminals jobs, even though he knew they'd committed crimes and worked for, like, the Penguin, because everyone else would say they're not redeemable, but he knows that they were trying their best, or even if they weren't trying their best, he would tell them, hey, you need to start trying your best. Stop being a criminal. Don't do this. And then he would be like, by the way, here's a job. Because he believed in them.
You're misunderstanding something, honey. I'll
what?
help you out in a sec. Oh, there's going to be a cutscene.
Oh, fine. But I'm saying that's what he was trying to do, was told them to stop being, like, criminals and stuff. What I thought.
1 second.
Hey, Alfred, did the city records turn up anything?
They didn't. According to the city permits, there's been no mining in Gotham City since the Cauldron was completed.
Judging from what we found last night, they've been digging down there for centuries.
Give this a listen, Alfred. Babs managed to repair some of the court voice recordings.
Dionysium brought the Talons back to life.
Sort of. Dionysium's basically weak as hell Lazarus pit water. Brings back motor functions, but free will's as good as gone.
So, what is a Talon exactly? Some kind of feral zombie assassin?
We've all seen weirder shit. Maybe.
Feral zombie. Sounds like Jason, alright.
I recognize a voice. The older woman is Constance Cobblepot, I'm fairly certain.
And the others?
More difficult to say. Maybe if I heard them in person.
In person? Tim, put the waveforms on the screen.
It's hard to find a match with all the damage and voice modulation. Maybe the matching system would have better luck if...
We match what we have against the live voices.
Fun, but how do we find these jackasses?
2 words. Orchard Hotel.
The Masquerade. The event of the season. This year's dedicated to Master Bruce.
Gotham's rich dress up and pretend they're humanitarians. I've been a few times.
So it's Dirtbag Central.
With so many of Gotham's elite together, security at the Masquerade will be tight. Finding out their plans first would give you an important advantage.
I'll tweak our masks to record telescopic audio.
If we can get a good vantage point, we may be able to put some faces to these mystery voices.
Sounds like our kind of party.
Hello, Brady.
New data was added
Blade.
to the board.
Oh.
I leveraged a mutual acquaintance. The head of security for the Orchard Hotel, Mr. Hendricks, has agreed to a meeting. The details are pinned to the evidence board.
You actually have... Oh, you have the flame weapons now. Good. Good, good, good.
But I was correct. I was correct. Thank you, Brady, for the super chat. I mean, thank you for being a member for 32 months, Brady. You're breathtaking. Thank you so much. I know. I hope you're doing well, Brady. Great to see you. And I really believe that Batman wants these criminals. He wants to see them reformed. I don't understand what I said wrong.
He wants to see them reform, but he only helped out certain individuals.
Yeah, because he really wanted to.
Yeah. He helped out only certain people, though.
I know. I wasn't saying he gave everyone a job, but he didn't.
Whoops.
He didn't put it past him. Like it wasn't beyond.
Whoops.
Like he wasn't beyond considering that he would hire somebody. He tried to give people a break if he had the ability to.
Oh, I know what I just messed up. Shoot, I didn't want to do that. I was trying to do this one. Why didn't it not do that?
But I'm saying if Batman didn't believe people could be reformed, then what is the whole point of Batman? The Court of Owls says the whole city is, non-reformable. Like, there's no hope for humanity. Like, we're just gonna, like, brainwash everyone, and the other people, like, are saying, like, oh, like, we're just gonna burn the city to the ground. And Batman's saying, no, like, there's still good people here, and I'm gonna, like, do my best to try to help the city. Batman believes that people can change. That's the whole point. So to take away his entire idea and make Batgirl, who's supposed to be his protege or whatever, say something like that and say he was always bad and he always will be. What a horrible thing to say about anyone. It reminds me of some relatives I have that are super rude and mean. You can't say that about other human beings, that they're always bad. No human beings are always bad. Everyone is born trying to be happy and live a good life.
We're gonna do the Mr. Freeze thing.
Nobody is born bad.
Since we already did the Mr. Freeze thing, we're doing that now.
It just makes Barbara Gordon out to be such an ugly character. Her personality is ugly and cruel. Don't you think?
Yeah, but she's just echoing.
I've always heard the Orchard Hotel is haunted.
I know, but it
That's
just
true at
makes
least
her
one
like
night here.
evil.
Bunch of rich ghouls in masks.
It makes her a gaslighter and vindictive.
She should be like the villain.
We need to find that cryogel and take down Freeze. He killed that scientist just to spite us. And then he got away.
He said it was Batman's fault. Bruce promised him a cure for his condition.
In return, Bruce is supposed to behave. But I guess with Bruce gone, he's back in the game. What have you got, Tim?
Judging from the list of stolen items, I'd say he's looking to upgrade his exosuit. And that's just for starters.
He also downloaded local weather balloon data for the past 10 years.
Let's go back out there and stop Freeze before he kills anyone else. Yes!
Easy, Tiger. We'll get him. Maybe that's enough practice for today.
I've set the Bat computer to monitor the city for high concentrations of cryogel.
Meanwhile, we should keep tabs on anyone working for Freeze, which should be easy since he decks out all of his lackeys with cryoguns.
Okay, so we're going after the cryogel stuff. which I got some amazing mods just now. So the Mr. Freeze challenge is now available, I believe. Mr. Freeze. Stop 5 crimes. So, yep, that's where we're going. So we gotta stop 5 regulator crimes. What? Why didn't it let me leave? Oh.
What? I have to look at the board.
Nope, I have to look at the board.
What's the point?
They just make you look at the board.
It's stupid.
Yeah, well. Make you look at the board.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. This is, they want people to believe that it's a horrible thing to believe that people are born bad.
Now we can go.
I think that's, I mean, that's why villains are so tragic, is because most people, I mean, when you go to school in kindergarten, everyone's super nice to each other because you're all, you know, nobody has any idea some of you will end up criminals. I mean, people don't mean to end up like that. Life is just a cruel place. It's really hard to get through life.
Don't forget that you have a rendezvous with Mr. Hendricks.
It hurts some people more than others. And some people have horrible things that happen to them. I remember watching a video on YouTube, where a judge actually remembered a guy that she went to, I believe, kindergarten with, and he was embarrassed because he recognized her name because they used to be best friends in kindergarten, and he was being like put before the judge. I guess he robbed something. And it was a real story, really, she really was a female judge, and he really was, like, this was a real clip. It wasn't a story. I watched the actual clip of it. And basically and then she said his name a few times, and then she was like, oh my gosh. She's like, I remember you. We were such good friends. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I remember you. And she was just like, well, she's just like, I don't know what she did, but I don't remember what happened, but I think something like, she gave him a lenient sentence and was like, you know, I know you can, you've got a good heart, and I know you can do it. I believe in you. And he was like, thanks, it means a lot. It was very sweet, because it's like he completely became that guy from kindergarten that she knew, or whatever. Or maybe it was 4th grade, I don't know. But it was interesting to see that, you know, we're always the same inside, even if we end up, you know, getting into the bad situation. You know what I'm saying? She remembered him, and she never thought differently of him, you know? She was like, I know you still have a good heart and you can do it. You know, isn't that kind of nice? That's how I feel like everyone should be.
Thug walk and sweeping up
Don't
stuff.
you think that's
yeah.
nice?
Yeah, I think that's very nice, Amber. Yep, you have to stop regulator crimes, Amber, so that'll count toward what we need to do for Mr. Freeze. So I'm going to stop a regulator crime right now, too.
That's what I believe. I think that people have a good heart. They just sometimes end up doing bad things, but they may still have a good heart in them.
I know. You heard me, though, right?
What?
You're going after regulators so that we can go deal with Mr. Freeze. I'm doing a regulator base right now. So just try to, whatever area of the map you are, just keep looking for crimes with these people. It'll count toward the thing to go do the Mr. Freeze stuff. Does that make sense? Okay. Alright, going down. Okay. I've got, that is something that's a problem. I'm just gonna climb up. There we go. Maybe I can get some freeze intel too. Let's see. That dude is not a question mark person.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the feeling Batman had with Harvey Dent when Harvey Dent, his friend, turned to crime, because he remembered him when he wasn't a criminal.
Yep. So pretty much I've been writing a Batman thing about Gotham Knights, explaining why Batman, based on the intel that I had, was the worst Batman in a video game, like the worst interpretation. And after reading those profiles and seeing some other stuff, I can definitely see that, you know, my assumption is correct. Like, they just don't know how to write Batman, and people are like, well, it's just this game. The problem is you have to outroot these people that have these jobs right now, because people are like, oh no, Gotham Knights wasn't received as well as Arkham or whatever, or as the previous Batman game. But the problem is, if you don't change the people who are responsible for creating these games, and you like actually hire people that have a love for the character, then unfortunately, I hate to tell you this, people, but the next Batman game will be even worse than this one. It's because you have to obliterate that mindset of those toxic people. And I mean, it's why I don't like SJWs, is because they're, to me, they're not people. They're like a plague. They have really bad ideas. They incorporate too much of their real life into the characters that they write, and the characters become unrecognizable, and they don't like work. They just don't. And then what problem with that is they end up ruining characters that aren't even their own characters. It's not their creations.
Yeah, that's the horrible thing.
You know, these are characters that have lived longer than they have been born, and they're ruining their legacies. It's okay to come in and like change some aspects, but to go and completely overhaul the morality and the characteristics of these people that have been around long before you, as a creator, it's your job. If you're given, you know, the ability to write these famous characters, you need to add to them, not take away from them. You know, you're supposed to be like respectful and treat the property with respect. You're not supposed to come in and destroy it, or, you know, input your own ideas that contradict what the character originally was. That's a disservice to the people who came before you. You know?
Yeah,
it's
like,
wrong.
There should be like a rule, or like DC Comics should make a rule where you can't change it so much.
DC Comics doesn't care because they have the wrong people in leadership right now.
Like, they should have a rule where it's like, where Disney has a lot of rules on their property, so does Nintendo. Or like, you can't change this or that, or, you know, like, you have to keep the integrity of the original characters. Like, there has to be something like that. But
You're supposed to be, I like how Henry Cavill says, he says, you're stewards to the characters. Like, you know, you have a responsibility, and that's why he's the perfect person to play Superman, is because he gets it. He understands that when you become this character, you have a responsibility to the actors that came before you, as well as to the character that you're representing. Like, you are Superman.
yeah, you're holding their legacy or
Exactly. Like, the thing is, the person who's writing Batman and stuff like that and doing these games, you're the author right now and the architect, like, doing all this other stuff. But you won't be for very long. There'll be somebody that's going to come after you, and how difficult are you going to make it for them? Like, what, you know, they can erase everything, but if you make too big of a mess, it'll take, like, their entire career to clean it up. And then there's no guarantee the person that comes after you is not going to take the same, like, you know, dramatic approach and make it worse.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly think the thing that she said about Mr. Freeze is the most rude, is the worst. It's almost like the worst line in this whole feed, because this is so uncaring and just...
Yeah, I didn't even notice it my first time through.
Unempathetic, just cold-hearted. I mean, she says Mr. Freeze is cold-hearted. Look at what she did. Her heart is cold. Saying that he can never be reformed. Nothing he ever does will ever be good enough. He'll always be bad. He's always not good enough for her.
Yeah.
How cool to say that about someone human being.
That's not very superhero-like at all. I was surprised. I was like, I actually had to do a double take when I was editing today, and I was like, man, I really wish I would have commented on that last week when I recorded that, but I didn't hear it. I was just like, I'm just going to turn this up so people can hear some fun discussion about Mr. Freeze. I couldn't hear it because I had to keep the TV very low because of how late it was.
Yeah, I know.
So that's,
so you didn't
if I would have had my headphones on, I probably would have commented on it.
What I don't like is when people are just judgmental and cruel of others, because it just hurts a lot, because it's so easy to be judgmental and cruel. It's the easy route. It's not the heroic route. Like, it's so easy to look down on everyone else and be like, Well, I wouldn't have done that. I would have done something else. I would never do that. I would never stoop so low as this person. You know, it's so prideful. It's not very humble. You don't know what you would have done in that situation. You have no idea. You're trying to say you're better than someone else, like that you wouldn't have done that? You wouldn't have been stressed out and maybe done that? You don't know. If you haven't walked a mile in somebody's shoes, then you can't say you wouldn't have done that. You don't know. And that's horribly cruel to, you know, judge somebody and say like, oh, well, I wouldn't have done that.
Ambi, you only have to
you
take
just
down,
don't know.
sweetie, you only have to take down one more regulator crime.
Because basically what she's saying is she's not even a human being. She's perfect. She would never do that.
Oh, Amber's got it. Amber, if you take this person down, we can do Mr. Freeze.
Batgirl is Ray, apparently.
Change, please.
I mean,
every female character is Ray. No. Never mind. I'm just gonna.
No, you're fine. All right, so we're going back to we're gonna go fight Mr. Freeze, guys and gals. Wait, what? This will end the patrol? Yeah, obviously it'll end the patrol. Come on, game. Seriously. You want to equip flame weapons, honey, because we're gonna go fight Freeze. Okay, here we go. Oh, that was something else.
Well, I'm getting too mean to the game. Loki made me feel sad. I should just have fun with the game. I'm kind of depressed because of everything that happened today.
I'm not trying to be, but I want to finish the Mr. Freeze stuff. Or at least part of the Mr. Freeze
I know,
stuff.
but I don't want to talk about me and Batgirl anymore.
You're back later than I expected.
They basically made her Batwoman.
Yeah, kind of. I think that...
Her personality of Babs is not even there at all.
Nope, they should have just had, wait,
they should have just had Batwoman in here.
Oh, we can't get to
At
Freeze
least they
yet.
wouldn't have ruined Babs.
We know Mr. Freeze's next move, investigate the Quartz Labs. Oh, darn. I thought we could get right to the Mr. Freeze boss. Not today. The labs.
Creepy guy. I have this weird suit that makes Tim Drake look creepy.
See, the problem with what happened today is I wanted to have everything more... I wanted to make our series like much shorter and to do all this other stuff, but because of that, it's not possible.
I know, but that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to break our spirits with the hacking. That's the whole point, is they're trying to make... You know, that's what people do.
Well, they succeeded because I'm exhausted.
I know. I'm used to my spirit being broken over and over again. I lived near your family for many years.
Okay, that looked disturbing. Oh, these guys are all alerted. Oh wow, I'm gonna hit level 40 already. So level 40 is the max your character can be, by the way. Yep. I'm going down the blade and okay. You're weak to fire, so goodbye.
Oh, it says map is not available on your mission.
Yeah.
Basically what they're trying to do is every time they see your audience and you having a great time, things are going well, then they're gonna hack. That's what they do. They're purposely trying to break our spirits. That's the whole point.
Ow, what just happened? Oh, there's a sniper on the roof. Oh.
They love it, especially if they can get us to argue or if they can get us to be stressed out. That's their whole point. They're trying to they're trying to destroy us. That's what they're trying to do. It's like a demon is hacking the stream, honestly. I mean, it could be.
It seems like it kind of stopped for a while. Either that or maybe that... I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Let's go into the building, I think. I think that's what we're... Yeah, we have to go in the building now. This is Quartz Lab. But I don't want to risk the Sonic thing tonight, because
Yeah, you don't have to if you don't want to.
I mean, it's.
I could play in another save file and do Sonic.
I mean, if you want to do a first impressions of it, and I'll do a real #1 tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know.
Guess I'll have to do this quietly.
I have a feeling that it's not going to work.
Yeah, I'll do first impressions on here. Or you and I can do a first impressions running around on another save file.
I don't. I'm exhausted.
Doing here?
Like, I used up all my stress points today. I just feel bad for the dude who's coming Wednesday because, you know.
You're gonna be mad.
No, I'm not mad at him. He didn't do anything wrong.
Okay.
I wish my friends would have gotten back to me that I asked for help, though.
Well, I'll tell you who your real friends are.
Well,
The number of people that got back to you to help you with the hacking are your real friends. Oh wait, no one got back to you. There you go. Now you know how I feel every day. That's why people are always like,
oh no, honey, you were
you
supposed
have...
to stealth
oh,
takedown. Stealth,
sorry,
stealth,
sorry.
stealth.
I'll just leave. I'll just leave. Sorry. Luke, go out. You can still take down. I'm just I'm sorry for in the area. Sorry. Maybe they were out at a dinner and they didn't get the message. Sorry, I didn't mean to. There was one stealth takedown.
No, that doesn't count. That was a wrong takedown. It wasn't a stealth takedown.
Well, I'm sorry for alerting them.
It's okay.
Luke, why don't you just exit the building and come back in?
They can't see me. I'm just waiting.
Okay,
you just
but
have to
they're
be.
alerted.
You just have to be patient and
Well,
wait for them to go back to yellow.
I'm not patient.
Well, that's why you're terrible at this game. You have to just be waiting.
Well, you're right about that.
I know. You're not a patient
I also
person.
get very stressed out when I make a mistake. I feel like leaving.
That's why you gotta wait.
I don't want to wait because I think you're mad at me.
No, I'm just telling you. You just have to be patient.
I don't know how to be patient.
You never know how to be patient. You're very bad at patience.
Well, why do you have me around?
Because I like you.
I don't think you like one thing about me.
Oh, you'd be incorrect.
They're back at yellow.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm doing a silent takedown.
Don't fight it.
It's done.
What? How did you do it?
Just did. I wish you could actually move your guns like after you started firing them, so I could just take on a bunch of people afterwards. But they don't let you do that.
Alright, look what I'm trying to do is stealth takedowns.
Lights out.
I'm sorry.
I mean, they're already alerted now. That doesn't matter. You just finish them off. Did I?
I hear banging. Is someone stuck in there?
We have to get them out.
Do you remember how to do this part? We have to open the door. I remember.
It must have been hard in that one DLC for when he said no, I can still save you, and Nora said I don't want it like that. Just take me out of the cryo thingy.
Yeah, they went on a date.
That was very sad because Mr. Freeze probably really thought he could have still saved her.
No, I mean, I don't think he could have, not in his lifetime. And also, like, he's being hunted now by, you know, all these different... She wanted him to get out of where he was. Like, all his research was destroyed, too. There's nothing you could do. That's why he was so broken up, is because the Arkham Knight Guards people who were attacking, they destroyed his life's research.
But was that enough to see his wifey one more time before?
I think they actually both die. I think like, because he was already pretty wounded.
Doesn't he take his helmet off because he can't... So it's like without her...
Yeah.
Without her, he didn't have any reason to live.
That's why Batman, it's kind of a bittersweet ending, is because Mr. Freeze, he goes off with her on their frozen yacht, but his power suit is damaged, she's dying again because her disease is coming back, they'd have days, and she's like, well, let's not waste it. But the reason why he's so upset is because the bad guys destroyed his life's research. That was what that ship was.
Oh my gosh.
So,
That's so terrible.
He probably could have cured her, but they literally destroyed his research. And Batman knew it. The reason why Batman didn't turn Freeze in is he's like, they just need, you know, we need to let them have their time.
They were gonna die anyway. Why would you put them in jail when they're already gonna die?
I mean, maybe he thinks Freeze is still gonna survive, but, you know, you never really see him again. So. Even Mr. Freeze wasn't gonna show up in the Damian Wayne game, so that was it.
That was almost better than the
Failsafe hidden
like
in
the
his
animated
office.
series one.
Guess everyone has secrets.
It was a very
We should
nice
grab it.
ending.
Maybe it can help us stop Freeze.
Yeah, even though it's sad.
I thought maybe he could be with her for a few minutes and then remember that for the rest of his life, and then he could try to live his life. I didn't know his suit was damaged.
His suit was damaged. And without the technology to repair it, there's nothing you can do.
But I hope they were happy.
They looked happy. They looked happy. Yeah, if you want to play Sonic tonight, just set up your own stream, okay? I have the other stream set up. I moved it to 5:30.
I don't know what I'm gonna
Maybe
do.
Upshot had something on him that'll
You know,
help
we
make
keep
sense of
having
all this.
problems happen, so I don't know what to randomly stream.
I mean, I think the Sonic game will work. I don't know. I can try to look.
I can do it.
Oh, we have to scan for one more thing. Scan for this.
I keep thinking the hacker doesn't like one of us, but then sometimes when I'm streaming on my own, they hack me, and sometimes when you're streaming on your own, they hack you. I kept thinking it was they didn't like me. Because every time I'm on the video, I seem to be hacked. Maybe if I left, then they wouldn't be hacking
Maybe
us.
it's how you're advertising that is attracting people. I don't know. I mean, also people are pretty mad about the whole Elon Musk thing too.
Well, I mean, I did retweet his tweet because I felt like everyone should be equal. I don't. That's the thing, like, you don't have to agree with everything somebody says for you to understand one thing they're saying. I agree with that one thing he was saying, which was that
Failsafe has to be around here
people
somewhere.
should be equal online. I thought that was the whole point of the United States, is everyone is supposed to be equal, but now I guess people don't want to be equal anymore. I don't understand what they
Hidden
want.
compartment under the floor.
They want some
A
people to be
classic.
more equal than others, like
They-
an Animal Farm.
They want people to accept and like
Belfry,
I'm trying to
I
remember
picked up
what
a
it is. There's
disruptor
all kinds
device
of
at
weird
Quartz
stuff.
Labs. The scientist who built
It's like
Freeze's
they
machine
expect
built this
people
too.
to
Must be important.
be nice to them, but they won't be civil to other people.
That's very narcissistic, though.
Yeah, we live in a narcissistic society now. Wait, what is this? Oh.
But
Oh, that was quick. So we can try to tackle the Mr. Freeze boss fight if you want. I think we can do it. This just be a longer episode. Or we can do it next time. I don't know. I'm kind of...
they died together, says Twin. Oh.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
I keep thinking that there's that one thing on that one forum site, like me.
For decades, maybe more.
What's that little one?
And yet they didn't hesitate to blow it all up just to get us. Sucks we couldn't get more info while we were down there.
I keep thinking about deleting some of our old videos that people didn't like.
Right. They won't be getting rid of us that easily.
Is there...
Oh, wouldn't it be cool if you could jump on the beams in here and stealthily, like, attack your own friends?
Well, I mean, the one...
that would be kind of fun.
The one thing I don't like about this game is I don't like how they're always in their civvies. Like, they're always wearing their civilian
that would be cool
attire.
if they could be wearing their superhero outfits walking around
Yeah.
drinking tea and stuff.
Because even Batman, when he's in the Batcave, he wore his suit.
No, this is the Batcave. We should be in our
Oh.
suits.
Want to talk about it?
Nope.
I want to talk about what?
Sure. Well, you know my door is...
Okay.
Also,
Cool. Good talk.
our suits are skin tight. I mean, I would think it would take a while to get in them. Personally.
Alright. Matchmaking error because I ended. Alright, guys and gals. Thank you guys for hanging out. I know things were very rough today. It was out, not in our control. It was very defeating for me, though. I'm very drained. You know, this is an important part of our income, and if we can't live stream, I mean, it's uploads just don't work anymore. It really feels like someone just wants us dead in a ditch, and you know, we just want to be left alone and do our job. You know, if they don't like us, they don't have to watch us. But it's not enough. This is why I don't like SJWs, is because they get so upset that other people than them have different opinions and different beliefs, and they want to destroy that. And that's why I hate those people. Like, I hate very few people, but I just can't stand those type of people. That's why I have a problem with them, is because they like to cancel people, they like to destroy people's lives, and I'm the opposite of that. I believe even my worst enemy is allowed to have a job and, you know, live their life, and as long as they don't bother me, I'm not going to bother them. You know? That's my philosophy. But, I don't know what Amber's going to do. She might stream her own Sonic thing. She loves Sonic. I am exhausted, so I'm done. I moved my #1 Sonic till tomorrow. I'm going to set up your streams. And, I'm calling it a night for me, so.
Well, I guess I'm streaming something.
Yeah, if you want to. Alright, guys. God bless. Happy gaming. Thanks so much for, watching. And, Gotham Knights will continue in a couple days.
Alright, God bless. Happy gaming. See ya!